Hey guys, what's up? What you talking about, Eddie? What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Oh, I got to get through the pop-out chat. There it goes. Just a second, we'll get started, guys. Thank you for joining us.
What you think
Oh, I got you, Eddie. I had to scroll back. I wasn't looking earlier.
Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They want to let the world.
All right, guys, let me kill this intro music and we'll get started.
They tell us lies and fake.
I think I shared it everywhere. I hope I shared it everywhere. I can't remember.
We feel betrayed.
Either way, we'll see, won't we?
We were
They'll either be here or they won't. That's the way that works.
raised.
Oh no, I got a shit ton of forwards. What happened? What happened? Over in the Patreon chat, I got like 200 forwards. What is that?
Because we're never
All right, here we go.
now. Beat the odds, beat the big house.
Let's do Intel, ladies. Intro, lady.
Hey everybody, it's Kim Cocold here. Listen up. I know I promised my family that I wasn't gonna disclose any more of my God dreams. But this very important message came through and I have to tell you guys what's going on. Okay, in my God dreams I was told very clearly that you must subscribe to Cold Beer Confessional. He's on YouTube and Twitch and all of the other ones. I don't know which. There's a lot of them. Subscribe and hit the bell, the notification bell, and hit the likes on it. Now listen, I don't like Cold Beer Confessional. I don't like Will Bird. I think he's an asshole. But you have to, you've got to do what God dictates in the God dreams. I fear the wrath of God, and so does Uncle Tessie. So subscribe to Cold Beer Confessional today. Okay, there Thanks a lot, guys.
Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you very much, Intel Lady. The God dreams say, and you must comply. I've always heard that. Comply with God dreams is the ultimate goal of ascension. 5D, and the God dream said, subscribe to me. I'm gonna go ahead and put a warning out there. I'm probably not having the greatest day today or tomorrow. We'll see what tomorrow holds, but my mom's birthday is tomorrow, and we lost her back in December, so I'm honestly just looking for a distraction. I wasn't even going to stream tonight. Then I thought, I'll just sit around and think about it the whole time. So I am streaming tonight, but I'm probably not going to be in the best mood. So we'll work on that. Either way, thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate you coming out. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a comment on the posted video, leave a comment in the live chat, introduce yourself. All those things would be awesome, and they'll actually help more people see the video, and I would greatly appreciate it. I'm going to switch around to the other screen quickly. There we go. Again, thank you to Intel Lady for our new intro. I still got the Scott Rogers one. I'm still working on some stuff in the background for like some different, like little short ads I can run, like when I got to go piss or grab a drink or whatever. I think I'll make up some like not real ads, but like just funny ads, just jokes. We used to have some like that. Scott McKay's fruit cakes and when to buy silver, when to buy gold, when to buy whatever. But yeah, it was pretty fun. Either way, again, thank you for joining us. We'll go ahead and get started. We got a couple things to cover tonight. I know Brad Barton's supposed to have a big show tonight.
Catherine Neal 66 just resubscribed for 3 months.
Thank you, Catherine. I know Brad Barton's been hyping up a big show tonight. Phil's been hyping up a big show tonight. I don't know what they're doing. I really couldn't care less. I'm banned from Brad, so I told somebody to tell me what he's doing. Phil's supposed to be hyping up a big show tonight too, right? With a guest or some shit. Is tonight this show that's supposed to have the guest? Hell, he's not even live. Isn't today the 16th? What is he supposed to do on the 16th? That's today, isn't it? Phil canceled. I haven't been on social media very much, just because it's not the greatest day for me. I do have something cool I want to show you. So I thought, first of all, an announcement is the TikTok streamer we found the other day that covers cults, that they exclusively just cover cults and people who join cults, how people get brainwashed in cults, what cult leaders are like. Like, he used to cover it for a paper, it seems, and now he does it kind of like freelance for all different papers. That guy's going to come on our show a week from tomorrow. It'll be next Friday. I'm going to speak with him personally, not recorded and on the live stream next week, early next week. And I think we're going to do Friday. I'll make up some bumpers and stuff so we can share. I want him to come talk about cults, because I've been saying the whole time this QAnon shit is turning into cults. Maybe not back in the day when people were just reading drops and saying, oh, I wonder what this means and I wonder what that means. But definitely now, absolutely now, where they're changing Christianity and they're talking about your ascension and they're talking about your vibration has to be high enough. And they're talking about we'll leave this world and we'll get the next, blah, all that crazy shit. That's definitely cult-like theory. And while he talks about cults, I'm also going to talk to him about QAnon. He says he hasn't heard anything about QAnon in a while. He covered it for a paper once and had to join a bunch of QAnon groups on Facebook, but they all got shut down. But he hasn't heard about it in a while. And I was like, oh, dude, it has changed. It has changed so, like, it used to be people that were like talking about someone who posted on 4chan. Now it's Michael Jaco fucking a dolphin in the blowhole. And, well, it's got gills. That must be its pussy. And ascension and vibrations. And Scott McKay claims that he can heal people with his mind. He healed a ballerina, a professional ballerina with his mind. An alien came and healed him. Like, the shit's fucking out there. Like, it is New Ageism has taken over. But I've also been told that once New Age stuff, once New Age ideology gets a hold of a group of conspiracy theory people, that's the last sign that is failing. They're the last people to come in and kind of mop up everything. So typically when we have a conspiracy theory that goes through different phases, that stays around long enough to have different phases, when the New Age people get there, that's usually an indication that it's ending. They're usually the last people that are around to kind of ride something into the ground, so that could be good. But that's not what we're talking about. The guy's name, I actually have to get the guy's name. I forgot what it was. He goes by, let me just grab it before I mess up. He goes by Colt Hunter. It's at Syran Warner. SYRAN Warner. WARNER. At Syran Warner, or SYRAN WARNER. Syran Warner. I think that's his actual name, Syran Warner. And then his moniker underneath of that literally says Colt Hunter. And he used to do it for a paper pretty regularly. Then he quit to pursue it full time. And now I think he freelances those out and also does his own stuff. So he'll be on a week from tomorrow. Not tomorrow, a week from tomorrow. But while we were talking about that, I thought, man, there's a bunch of, I know a lot of people don't have TikTok because security concerns, because you don't want another app. Joe Biden's fixing to shut it down, apparently. But I know a lot of cool channels and a lot of cool people on TikTok. So I thought, man, on my show, I'm going to start. It might not always be at the first. It might be at the end, or it might be at the beginning, or it might be in the middle somewhere. But I want to feature a cool TikTok channel that I found. I'm sure nobody cares because it's not going to get them a ton of viewers. But I think it'd be cool to show some of these TikTok channels that you probably don't know exist, because I watch weird shit, okay? And one of them is called the Millennial Cleaner, I think. Millennial Stone Cleaner. This guy right here goes around and finds, we're going to watch one of his videos. Millennial Stone Cleaner, his name is Wade. He goes around and finds neglected or abandoned gravestones for people. Not only does he restore the gravestone and get it back to looking good, he talks to the family and finds out the story, when they lived, when they died, how many kids they had, did they serve in the military, all that. It's really cool. So let's check this one out. I think this is the one I was just watching earlier.
Headstone.
Oh, that was my bad. Hold on.
This nearly disappearing headstone is that of James Battles, a man who lived half his life in Somerset County, Pennsylvania, with his wife, Mary Elizabeth. When I came across his headstone,
It was almost buried.
because it was covered in leaves. It was only a few inches sticking out of the ground. And knowing how tall it was, I wanted to make sure that we could get this excavated out and back up to its proper position.
Yeah, for what I understand, this isn't like his job. This is like a hobby. Well, social media might be his job, but like not repairing gravestones. It's like a hobby he does just to help people out. He thinks people should be remembered, and he fixes it up. It's pretty cool.
James and Mary had 9 children: Anna, John, Mary, Nathaniel, William, Silas, Eugene, George, and Harriet. The family moved to Minnesota just before it became a state, sometime around 1856, 57, or 58. A few years after...
They moved to Minnesota just before it became a state. Man, that had to be wild back then. When you were like out on frontier land, like that had to be crazy. Live at that time.
41, he enlisted in the Union.
Also, all of the cleaner he uses, sometimes he'll talk about like the type of cleaner he's using, the brush he uses and stuff, in case you want to do this. And make sure it's not like something that'll ruin the stone or eat the etching off of it or cause it to be weakened or whatever.
Army, joining Company H of the 6th Minnesota.
Yeah, Ray Blanchard. He's pretty cool.
At the age of 74 in 1897.
So there's a stone he restored. We'll grab another one. Sometimes he has like really, really interesting stories. Sometimes it's just, one he found. Some of these that are broke, he uses adhesive, like this concrete adhesive. Let's check this one out. It'll show you.
This is the grave of one of the early white settlers in western New York, Susan Lyndon Beardsley. She was born in 1808, not long after the Phelps-Gorham purchase of 2.6 million acres of land from the Iroquois Nation at about a half a cent per acre.
A half a cent per acre when they bought it from the Iroquois Nation.
In 1831, at the age of 23, she married Anson Beardsley. The family farmed and lived in Parenton, New York, being only a few miles from the newly opened...
I don't believe in like ghosts or like hauntings or anything like that. Every time I've ever been in a situation, I've been scared by that stuff before, but I can usually always find a reason to attribute it to wind or drafts or whatever. But I do think the dead should be respected. for the most part. Like I might. You've heard me say shit like, "Oh, your wife died to get away from you, fucking nut job." But I wouldn't go like and dance on her grave or anything, or say that to any family who wasn't coming in here being an asshole. I wouldn't just harass somebody with it.
In Erie Canal, they had pretty easy access to sell their goods. Susan herself lived to.
Oh, what did they sell? Hold on.
Lived in Parenton, New York.
They
The family farmed and lived in Parenton, New York.
farmed and lived in Parenton, New York.
Being only a few miles from the newly opened Erie Canal, they had pretty easy access to sell their goods.
So they farmed big enough they could go down to the Erie Canal and sell their goods there, which is pretty cool. That's awesome, Miss Mo. Miss Mo says, my ancestors came to Oregon before Oregon was even a thing. Extremely deep roots here, and what's happening here, it makes me horribly sad. Yeah. This guy gets, as someone else asked, he does get permission from the family when he can, but most of his research isn't typically bothering the family. He does it through genealogy, census records, tax records, all that shit. That's where he finds out most of it.
Susan herself lived to the old age of 88, outliving her husband, who passed away at the age of 45, and outliving all.
Damn. She lived to 88 and he only lived to 45.
And outliving all 6 of their children.
Oh, no.
The family was tight-knit, with adult sons living with her to work on the farm.
I don't think a parent ever wishes to outlive their kids.
Grandsons as well. She hired additional men to work on the farm as hired hands. Certainly a tough lady. She's
Kept running a farm by herself.
with a very large family obelisk and matching individual grave markers. The issue with her headstone is the base. The face of it sheared off, and at least 2 other repairs have been made to it. One with a Portland-based cement puddled on top of it, and then some other small bits of epoxy that failed. We're using an epoxy putty to fill the cracks, and then a historic lime mortar between the die and base. This is the grave of one of the early...
That's pretty cool. I think it's cool what he does. He'll answer questions sometimes as well. What is this one?
I'm not gonna cry. Wait a minute. How'd you find this?
She's her family's historian.
Oh, he found somebody.
Major roadblocks in the story.
I have lost both
This might be an interesting story.
the side that I'm struggling to fill in the gaps with. My second great-grandfather, Michael, and his brother, Amelia.
We have not even got a headstone for my mom yet. We haven't been able to bring ourselves to do. I mean, it's got a marker, like the funeral home puts like a simple marker. And some of the people buried at my mom's family's graveyard, that's all they still have. They've been dead for 20 years, and all they still have is a marker. We're gonna get her a nice headstone, but we just haven't been able to bring ourselves to even. It just doesn't feel real, man. That's what I was telling the mods today. Like it just doesn't. It doesn't feel real. Like her birthday's tomorrow, and I feel like I should go buy her a present and call her. Remember to call her tomorrow. Like it doesn't feel real. And then if I think about it too long, I just get sad. So.
Their side, the side that I'm struggling to fill in the gaps with. My second great-grandfather, Michael, and his brother, Amelia, came together on a ship called Bolivia from the Naples, Italy port.
And that's
Ooh.
That's where the story ends.
My sister's real big into. She went back and found a bunch of our relatives and where they came from and how they got here and how they migrated, all of that stuff. And some of it's really, really interesting. Some of it's just the normal boring stuff we like, but some of it's really interesting. My sister's real big into it.
help you out a little bit. So what you're looking at is your great-great-grandfather's birth certificate from San Pedro in Italy.
Good Lord.
Birth certificate, and so it's going to have other information.
So that's cool. He helps with genealogy too.
Sorry.
Giuseppe
Who was his mom?
is his mom.
or something like that. Martone. Giuseppe, the father, was 36. Mom was 30.
Oh, Giuseppe was a father.
He was a farmer.
That's what I thought. Giuseppe sounds like a guy's name, but she said mom.
In order to go and make an attestation, they had to bring the baby to the registrar. So they took a baby with dad and 2 neighbors because the neighbors had to.
Well, my sisters and I, all agreed to pay for it and go together and pick it out. It's hard to do.
To all of this. So they came with, their names are listed there as well. They did not read or write themselves.
I'm sorry, Dev.
Listed as Giuseppe Dorado, son of Angelo Dorado. So now you have another generation. So you have 2 additional generations.
I'm not gonna mess up my makeup. I'm not gonna do it. You can make me cry all you want. It's not gonna work.
Somebody in my chat said they found that they were related to Abraham Lincoln or some shit over the last night or something.
I'm not gonna cry. Wait a minute. How'd you find this?
That's pretty cool. I didn't even know he did the genealogy stuff. I always get recommended his cleaning videos. I like when he cleans like a big obelisk or something. Let's see what this one is. Anyways, what I'm trying to do is you should go check this guy's channel out. He might even have a YouTube channel if you don't have TikTok, or you don't need the TikTok app. You can just go to TikTok.com and in the search bar type in Millennial Stone Cleaner, and you can go watch him without an account. You just can't comment and like, but you don't even need the app.
David Marple Sr., who went by David, his wife Eliza Ann Hart, and their son Sergeant Nathan David Marple Jr. Eliza and her son died.
There's a lot of Civil War graves too. That's why I started watching it. I was learning stuff about the Civil War graves.
And Nathan Sr. died just a few years later in 1878. All three were born just outside of
trying to pack that pea gravel or whatever underneath it.
New Jersey. David fought in the War of 1812, and later his son served in the Union Army. The family, having lived so many years in the Philadelphia area, would have been really amazing.
God, you got to be careful prying against it.
It was just
like that.
Area to the nation's history at many points in time, including when they were there.
But he just started doing this kind of on his own as like a side gig or whatever. And it's blown up. People are requesting him to do it. I'm sure there's no lack of need out there. There's probably a lot of need to it. One time he found this crazy, I don't even know if I could find it. It's so old on his channel. He found this crazy one that was like down in like, it had like it was a grave when they used to put clear glass in the top of it. I don't know if they did that because they believed like, if it was like a viewing portal just because it was like a nice fancy thing, or if it was because, you know, at one time they believed they were misdiagnosing so many people, they used to tie bells and shit to them, or at least that was the rumor around it. But he found one time that had the clear glass was gone. It basically just went down into the ground around a bunch of roots, and there was a tree growing over. I'm gonna see if I can find it actually. Let me see if he's on YouTube. Oh, I can just hit his link tree. That was a pretty wild one. Donation. Oh, there's YouTube right there. Let me go through his channel and see if I can find this one. Because it was crazy. I think it was like a long one. The tree was like growing up through it, and it was out in the middle of nowhere. Anyways, here he is on YouTube, Millennial Stone Cleaner. Make sure you guys go subscribe to him. Even though it's got nothing to do with me, nothing to do with Grifters, nothing to do with whatever. I know a lot of people, like I watch a lot of weird channels, and I'm sure some people would like it. Some people would be like, this guy's fucking weird as shit. What's he watch? He watches people clean gravestones? Yeah, pretty much. You got me. I wanted to see that one with the clear viewing window. That thing was crazy. That they used to build stuff like that. And of course it had busted in, and probably animals had got in. It had a tree growing out of it. Like up through the hole where is that it? A tree destroyed everything? I don't think that's it. That's from a month ago. Let me see if it's in his shorts. Maybe it's a multi-part one in his shorts. His shorts should be the same as his damn... it probably isn't. His shorts should be the same as... What's this one say? Secret Society. Let's see what this one is.
This is the grave of baby Gordon Cunningham, who died in 1900 at the age of just 5 months. Stones like this were carved as a log or a tree stump, generally date from the 1880s.
It looks like... Do you see it? It looks like a log. It looks like a log. Like it's even got branches on it and shit, and it's carved into it. But I think he says they were carved to look like a log, but they're not. Hold on, let me start it over. I can't rewind like I can on
This is the
TikTok.
grave of baby Gordon Cunningham, who died in 1900 at the age of just 5 months. Stones like
5 months old.
Carved as a log or a tree stump generally date from the 1880s to 1920s. That was a transitional period in American funerary.
So people used to like that back then, I guess. Man, the mortality rate on children back in the day was so freaking high. If we've done anything in the modern age, and especially triumphed the United States, even helping other countries, we've lowered the child mortality rate drastically.
It's when cemeteries were emphasizing nature and markers grew a lot more modest.
customs around death at that point in time were starting to focus more on the person's life and the people left behind, and the tree being a powerful symbol of eternity and humanity.
That's right, Southern Belle. This guy does it. His like own. I was just featuring a different creator that I like to watch sometimes. I've been watching him today, and it made me think about it. We've also got the interview with. We've also got the interview with Ciaran Warner, who's the guy who just covers cults exclusively for mainstream press. Like he writes it for newspapers and his Discord and his YouTube channel and all that stuff. He's coming on the show, and that made me think, like, I watch some weird TikTok guys. I should cover it. But this guy, Southern Belle, kind of does it out of his own free time. He doesn't charge. He just goes out and restores headstones.
Form that's also connected with the secret societies of the time. So for those of you, if you were buried and planning your marker today, would you be a log, or what would you be? Would you be a race car driver? Are you a sneakerhead? Maybe a pair of Nikes?
A log. Be a big ass turd. Man, I wish I could see that. Is this one it? A tree destroyed everything. Let's just try it just in case. No.
Is all that remains of a large tree that, when it came down, took out all of the stones in this area.
Oh, that's a bunch of stones.
Annie was born Annie McKenna in London, England in 1830.
I think it's wild. I mean, could you imagine? Could you imagine being born in like England at like the turn of the century, right? The 1800s, and having just the fucking balls, I guess, the adventuring spirit to go to the new world. Like, you probably hear horror stories about it, about the natives, about the sickness, about survival, about the winter, about the weather, about the animals, about the people, and just having the balls to hop on a ship for 4, 6, 8 months and float across the ocean. That's crazy.
At 16, she moved with her family to the United States, eventually marrying Matthew Edgar and living in Michigan, where they had their first daughter, Annie J. Edgar, named after herself as well as her mother. By 1865, the family moved to Rochester, New York, where
Forgotten Faces, thank you.
At a tailor's shop, and her sister Margaret was living with them as well. By 1880, Annie was a widow. Her sister living with her and her sister's mother-in-law joined the household as well. By 1890, Annie moved with her daughter, who was now married to Frederick Lucas, to Washington, D.C., where Fred was the director of the American Museum of Natural History. He was an expert on the anatomy of birds. The family later moved to Brooklyn, New York, where Fred worked as the curator-in-chief at the Brooklyn Museum. She's buried in Mount Hope Cemetery in Rochester, New York. This massive tree stump is all that remains of a large tree that, when it came down...
That is a big tree stump. That was a big tree. I was trying to see if I could... I think what I was looking up at the time when I found that video about... I wasn't watching this guy. When I found that video about the tree... I think I was looking up. Have you guys seen those seed pods where they basically put your body into like this seed pod thing, and you fertilize a tree, and instead of having a grave, they put you in you basically grow into a tree. Not like reincarnation or nothing, but your body goes back into the earth. They put you in a pod, and then that's planted with a tree, and then you go back and help grow the tree. I think that's what I was watching last time. I can't remember. But either way, this guy's pretty cool. Check him out. He is Millennial Stone Cleaner. And he does a pretty good job. With the content he covers, what he does for people, he's a decent dude. Either way, we got some videos to watch. So I titled this, "The Grifters are going after each other." I got a video we're probably going to skip around on some. But it gets pretty hot. This is a video with some people you're going to know. Mel Carmine, Kelly Speakeasy, Captain Kyle. I don't even know who this is. Tyrannie. I don't know. And Juan O'Saven. So let's hop right into the beginning of this, and we'll speed it up. We'll skip around. We'll do some different things. They get pretty upset here about some Nasara Gassara shit.
And if you need more than $10,000 worth of XRP or $1 million.
Oh, you guys need to listen to his grift. If you need more than 10,000 XRP or more than $1 million worth of
cheapest price, don't even waste your time looking for a cheaper price.
Miles Franklin.
It doesn't exist. Also, our Telegram groups down below.
Liberty Warrior.
Learn what's coming, and you sort of a little scared. I understand. Believe me, I was there too at one point. Our Patriots are literally waiting for you in the room.
He called it a shelf.
If you need more than $10,000 worth of XRP or $1 million worth of XRP, you come see me. Send me an email at qfs1776@gmail, and we'll get you as much as you want. Well, happy Sunday, everybody. March
Here we go.
2023. And I could tell
Juan saving in the rental car, of course.
you, it is not boring. We got 107. We got Ty, who's a retired special ops. We got Captain Kyle.
Tyrone. Does anybody know that guy? Ty, retired special ops. I bet you that's fucking a lie, but whatever.
We got Kelly, his partner, and 107 has got maybe an hour and 20 minutes that he can give us. So we're going to get on with the show. Guys, welcome to the show. There is a lot of moving parts, but let's start the show with this one. I understand you're down in the Caribbean somewhere, or I don't know if you're still there. And rumor has it that you got hitched. Is that real?
Boy, you know, word travels fast. You know, I got to tell you, it's a little sensitive, but when I proposed, I was going to get married last fall.
Did you hear that? This is from one day ago. Did you hear that? Got hitched, huh?
On October 7th. And then with the elections coming about June, I thought, you know, actually, that's not a very good idea. Let's push it just a little bit. We're going to get married in January. And I've just been so swamped. And, you know, all the stuff that, you know, I don't really talk about happening in the background is so time sensitive that it just wasn't something where I could justify even for noodles to take a break. And
imagine that. And out of the country. Who else do we know that's fixing to have a wedding outside of the country?
And I had other people I needed to meet with that we were able to kind of coordinate our schedules and spend some time together. And then I had other folks.
Insurance investigator. But yeah, you're right, David Fisher. So Juan used to be the guy that, like, let's say you were drawing temporary disability. He would park down the road from your house and take pictures of you through fucking telescopic lenses and use his binoculars to watch you mow the yard or take out the trash and try to get your benefits taken away. A real badass.
That, popped in and out. So I've actually been kind of on a working honeymoon for about 2 weeks, but we got an awful lot accomplished, very important stuff. And we'll do something more formal for folks, friends like that at some later point in time, but I just did not.
From, I think the name of his town is Gig Harbor, Washington State is where he's originally from.
Break free to do anything, you know, invitational or family or anything like that. So it's just the nature of the beast. We're in such a critical moment right now that, you know, you just can't overstate how many moving parts there are in play on so many different levels. And then I do kind of cast a broad net. So I have a number of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we got a hell of a panel here today. I know they got a lot of questions. I may just jump in.
Oh shit, I clicked on a video by accident. It's probably gonna play. Hold on. Okay, I got it.
Going on right now. And so I don't know if you still have audio there, Juan. Can you guys hear him?
Yeah, I think I might have muted.
He muted him.
Okay.
Look out.
So can you hear us?
Looks like he's talking.
Looks like he's talking, but we can't hear him.
Maybe he accidentally muted himself.
Doesn't look like he's muted from here.
He doesn't know that it's connected to his car, I guess.
Juan, can you hear us?
Oh, there we go. Let's see.
I got you back now. There we go.
There we go. I apologize. I think, you know, I drive rental vehicles everywhere. I think it captured somehow. So sorry about that.
No worries. I basically said we got a lot of anomalies happening in the banking space right now. We got a hell of a panel here, and I know they want to ask a lot of questions. I'm going to sort of sit back and let them take over the show. Maybe we'll start with Kelly. I know she's got a few questions, and we'll go around the room to Captain Kyle and then Ty, and I'll jump in as needed. And I think it's going to be very interesting. So hopefully your audio complies there.
I got you. Yeah, it was just one of these Bluetooths in the cars. You know, I had a rental and it captured the sound. So go ahead.
No worries.
Okay. Should I go ahead?
Yes,
okay.
please.
So again, hello, Juan. It's so nice to meet you. Very exciting to be here and sharing with you. So I put a question post out to get a feel from all of our members what was on their mind and what.
This is Kelly.
And the majority are very worried about their money in the banks. And yeah.
With good cause.
Yeah, definitely with good cause. So would you mind talking about that a little bit for them?
You know, I've said numerous times, constitutional money is going to be fine. And then, of course, constitutional money is what? It's gold and silver. And so that's kind of one of these things where a lot of people don't, they want some kind of assurance of, that this racket that's being run with the Federal Reserve System is somehow going to be okay for them. Or more commonly within the community, I had somebody that sent me a note here this morning that every person in this audience would know this person's name, know them, probably has watched them a gazillion times. And wanting to know, okay, is it ready now for Gassar and Nassara? We're going to make all our money. I don't know how many times I've answered this question, including for this person, that that was the other team's game. You're really looking at a situation where we were being set up for a very long time for a little game in the banking system to push us into cryptos.
Of course we were. They were trying to push us into cryptos, trying to push us into believing that it was safe.
We're going to be a winner in the Ponzi scam with Gassar and Nassara, and that this is something we want. And even now, what's happening in Mexico? Mexico now announcing that they want to get into the BRICS game. And what you have to understand is that where we are in this whole operation, there's a play being made, and the intent was that America's out and everybody else is in. If you look at what would have happened had Hillary Clinton won, Hillary Clinton and that crew back in 2016 was going to usher in a new monetary system and banking system. And you have to kind of think about it. Obama did the setup. It's like a volleyball game. You receive the ball from the other side and you get it up to the line, and then somebody spikes it on you. And so on multiple fronts, on the stuff that we don't name the name or whatever they want to stick in you, the whole intent was that you were going to have an economic crisis. They had a nuke scheduled to be delivered a year before the election, right up there in Seattle, November 3rd. I've talked about that numerous times. There was the Golden Globes where they talked about, throwing a napkin over your head if you didn't want to take the, thing in your arm back when nobody even knew that was a thing. And the Arano bird, where they were going to eat this delicacy. It's just bizarre as all get up. And all of those weird little things were about setting up America so that this insider club could come to the rescue. And they were going to come to the rescue after the devil, Satan, some horrible thing had to get America, but they were going to magically be there at just the right time to save us with their pre-planned little scam. Let me use an example. The Patriot Act. That was thousands of pages that were set.
The Patriot Act set up. So I'm not going to disagree. The Patriot. I wonder if Nino was the ring bearer. I don't think he could follow the instructions. He probably gave Poppy away. And who gives away Mr. Juan O'Savin? Me, Papito. Oh, you'd have to check with him. But this guy, I'm not going to disagree with him. The Patriot Act took a lot of liberties, a lot of freedoms away, and we just kind of gave it to him because we were all scared at the time. And once you give something to the government, you never technically get it back. But everybody signed on to it at the time. You know what I mean? Are people abusing it now? Can they abuse it? Absolutely. Both those are true. They can abuse it. They are abusing it. They will abuse it in the future. But that's something that's already in the rear view now. Now we know how to address the next national tragedy.
A month after 9/11. Well, it didn't just magically appear. It was pre-planned. And as Trump said, after
Wait a second.
9/11, that was thousands of pages that were suddenly available, ready to be passed a month after 9/11.
Yeah, that's how it works, you dumb fuck. So I'm not going to go into the conspiracy that it was pre-written and they were just waiting for 9/11 to happen to he even said months, plural, months. How long do you think it takes to write 1,000 pages, Juanito, when you've got 18 fucking assistants from 34 offices working on it? It doesn't have to be pre-written if you've got months to write it.
Well, it didn't just magically appear. It was pre-planned. And as Trump said on several occasions, before it's all over, you'll know exactly who took these buildings down. You're on the precipice of something similar in the economic system. Remember, the prelude to Obama coming into office was our financial disaster in the Bush administration. And most of your listeners don't remember that when his father came into office back at the end of the Reagan era, that he also presided over a huge market drop, a 500-point drop in a day, and then they brought it.
There you go, 500-point drop. He proceeded over that.
And setting up the systems, the computer systems, to control the markets and the rapid trading systems, and then triggers that would shut the market down. Stuff that's been perfected until now. You have A that are controlling the transactions. Anybody that's in the markets where they've got the retirement, they're watching every day. Where's the market gone over the last 2 years? It's gone absolutely nowhere. How's that done? It's done with all sorts of funds that you don't know the name of.
So now they're manipulating the market, so you can't make any money.
Realize that they have it there, but
I wanted to look her up. Kelly Speakeasy. It reminds me of Carrie Super Easy. I think that's Gil Fodlewski's girlfriend. But it's Kelly Speakeasy, and her co-host they said was Ty. So let's check that out.
These are funds that are available inside of programs, complex programs that trade super fast in nanoseconds, and they're in and out of stocks. They're going back and forth, doing all sorts of things at the speed of light, literally. And in the course of doing that, then you think you're trading for your retirement for 10 years from now. They're trading for this afternoon, first thing in the morning. They're doing 20 trades a day at very high speeds. They'll make as much by the end of the day as you might expect to make in the next year or two. They got your number. And so you come back to the money.
Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I forgot to close the group. Damn it, I'm an idiot.
All the transactions you do in the course of a day. What they're really doing is very deftly, very carefully consolidating their positions. And you're not fast enough. You don't have the same access to all the stuff in the background. I'll use one other example. When we did what we did to take down the Soviet Union, to win World War III, and by the way, we did win World War III. So
okay.
It doesn't exist anymore. We won.
Makes sense.
World War IV. War by another means. And
okay. World War IV is what we're in now. We just skipped one.
So I would do a trade, not anticipating where things were going to go. Why? Because I knew where they were going to go. I had a 15-minute head start on every trade I did. I was making money that was off the books to do what we had to do. And nobody,
What is he talking about? Is he talking about insider trading? Is he admitting to insider trading here?
Head start on every trade I did. I was making money that was off the books to do what we had to do. And nobody, I would do war by another World War III. Soviet Union doesn't exist anymore. We won. This is World War IV.
I cannot believe, still to this day, Q Idiot, you just mentioned it. To this day, I cannot believe that's really a picture of Carrie.
It says, does she have the qualifying pasties?
I can still not believe that they found a picture of Carrie fucking drunk out of her mind showing her tits on somebody's boat. No wonder she wanted to get Phil a boat. She's trying to find a man with a penis without a mole on it.
War by another means. And when we did that, we had back doors for...
Oh, wait. They're saying that... I'm sorry. Somebody's saying that Kyle and Kelly Speakeasy are a partner, not the Tyrone guy.
All of our transactions. So I would do a trade, not anticipating where things were going to go. Why? Because I knew where they were going to go. I had a 15-minute head start on every trade I did. I was making money that was off the books to do what we had to do. And nobody...
Why is he talking about insider trading? Why is he admitting to this?
War by another means. And when we did that, we had back doors for all of our transactions. So I would do a trade, not anticipating where things were going to go. Why? Because I knew where they were going to go. I had a 15-minute head start on every trade I did. I was making money that was off the books.
So he's claiming that for World War IV, he was given a back door and insider knowledge, which is literally the definition of insider trade. Why did Martha Stewart go to jail? Basically, she traded her stock on something that she could have only known if she knew the interworkings of a company, right? So, like, if I'm the CEO of a company and I tell you tomorrow, I haven't told anybody, there hasn't been any reports or negative or anything going on, and I say, look, I'm tired of it. I'm going to shut it down next week. Next week, I'm shutting down this whole corporation, thousands of people and their jobs, blah, blah, blah. You take that information, being, my secretary, and start trading stocks with that knowledge. That's insider trading, right? You know something that the general public wouldn't know. Who else does this all the time? Our Congress people. Tell me how many people, before COVID got bad, how many people got out of airline stocks and hospitality stocks and service industry investments. But he's just admitting to it. I knew every trade that was going to happen. I knew everything that was going to happen 15 minutes beforehand, and nobody could catch us. He's just outright admitting to a fucking crime.
To do what we had to do. And nobody, was the wiser. By the time I'd completed my trade, their trade, which had been held.
This dude does have a Telegram, that Tiaroga guy.
Finally happens. I was piggybacking.
Tyrone Iane. Tyrone Iane. Tyrone Iane. Tyrone Iane.
And holding up their trade.
Former Special Forces. Yeah, okay.
A very similar moment. You think that you're, being really smart and you're trading and you're anticipating, whether it's the money markets or stock trades, any number of things. There's a crowd in there that has already anticipated where you're going to go, what you're going to do. They already know how you're going to react. When they bang the gong, when they hit the alarm bell, all you're going to do.
I haven't banged the gong in days. I need to get some good alone time with a gong, maybe a soft xylophone playing in the background to get warmed up or something, and go in and bang the fucking gong. That might be nice for a change.
Is jump.
Relieve some of his stress, if you know what I'm saying.
And that's what they had in mind with Qassar and Zara. Had Hillary won, you would have already had Bitcoin go up to $3 million a coin. You'd have already had a market crash, and Qassar and Zara happened. All that happened here was it got delayed radically, and then some of the stuff that they had in mind has been thrown off in the timing. Remember FTX and Tether and all these market trading funds, a market for cryptocurrencies and all the exchanges. There's 2-3 dozen others that didn't get off the drawing board or are struggling also. They were all intended to move you into their digital currency long before right now. They got thrown off on their game. And you're in.
So, y'all are nuts says, what is it with them driving all the time? It makes them look more busy than they are, right? They've always got to be somewhere. They're barely able to squeeze this. Phil right now is watching March Madness. I guarantee he's watching basketball. He's not busy. He wasn't called out on a mission. It's not Carrie. It's not those two kids that he probably shouldn't even be around. He's watching basketball. But when he always appears to be in a rush, he has to appear like his life is super fucking complex. He has to appear like he's got 15 minutes to somehow get to and through an airport security. He's got to appear to be these things. So one of the things they can do is be like, look, I got so much going on. Really, the only time I've got to myself is either a few minutes downtime in a hotel room while I'm jet setting across the world. Juan doesn't even need to jet set across the world. He doesn't fucking do anything. He just goes and rents out hotel rooms so he looks like he's traveling around. And it subconsciously adds to their credibility when people watch it. So they act like they're so fucking busy that this is all they can do is barely get through while they're driving around.
A war with AI, artificial intelligence, and the players pulling the levers and gears behind the scenes, using that artificial intelligence to try to regain control of this game. At the end of the day, the dollar is going to suffer. You can't create out of nowhere another trillion or 10 or $20.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Sure.
Just so would you agree that there will be a gold-backed system, a quantum system? I mean, we've got the HR 9157 that you can find at congress.gov, and that is sponsored by Representative Mooney, Alexander Mooney, and then you've got your two co-sponsors, Paul Gosar and Andy Biggs, which are huge people in Trump's corner. If you know of them and you've looked. .gov, and that is a quantum system. I mean, we've got the HR 9157 that you can find at congress.gov, and that is sponsored by Representative Mooney, Alexander Mooney, and then you've got your.
So this is HR 9157. We went over before. This was from I think it was the 117th or whatever Congress is the last Congress, 21-22 Congress session, where they wanted to link the value of a dollar. They wanted to link the value of a dollar to a certain amount of gold. The problem is, I don't think people are going to like how much gold they link it. We don't have enough gold to go back to do that, to cover the dollars. We just can't. It's not a feasible option. And we're not going back to hard currency. No matter how much you want it, no matter how much you think it would fix everything, you can believe all those things. We are not going back. We cannot. Nobody is.
Two co-sponsors, Paul Gosar and Andy Biggs, which are huge people in Trump's corner. If you know of them and you've looked into their backgrounds. So now that was set up last fall. And if you read it, it's backing the dollar with gold, which is the gold standard, going back to it. So there's actually, some place we can go on a government website to look at that. As far as Nasara Jassera, Kevin Kyle knows a lot about like the origins of that. So I think we might disagree in that sense. But going back to the banks, the actual
Well, hold on. I
banks-
don't want to go right past that.
Okay.
There's
sure.
a valid.
Here we go. Here's where the tension starts right here. So she mentions 9157, which doesn't seem like it has hardly any support. Then she wants to kind of say, well, we don't all agree the same thing about Nasara Gassara. And she just wants to scoot over it because they probably don't agree on it. And he does not want to scoot forward. He wants to beat this son of a bitch like it's a dead horse, and he knows it.
Website to look at that. As far as Nasara Jassera, Kevin Kyle knows a lot about like the origins of that. So I think we might disagree in that sense. But going back to the banks, the actual
Well, hold on. I
banks-
don't want to go right past that.
Okay.
There's
sure.
a valid side of Gassar Nasara that is going to happen. The problem is
Yes.
who is going to own that.
Yes,
Okay?
that has
And
always
you have to
been
understand that there's all sorts of intricacies. You're in a war over which crew is going to be able to control that. Remember, Trump moved Federal Reserve operations back under Treasury
Yeah,
when he
in
was in
2020.
office.
That is
Okay,
correct.
August of
and that's a critical component in this whole equation. These guys are trying to recapture the situation. They never thought Trump would win,
right.
and it threw their schedules off on numerous things. At the end of the day, they wanted America wiped out so they could do what they wanted to do over the rest of the world, not just because it's the American economy. They wanted to sink it. And at the end of the day, by the way, we are specifically, everybody's focused on the Russians, everybody's focused on China, and both of them are a problem. But at the end of the day, it's a magic act, and the people we're fighting are right there in the city of London. And it is a money issue, and all of the crowd around them.
Yeah, but they're
That's
bankrupt
the
too.
core.
Just like the U.S.
Hold on. Let me
corporation
say this
is.
real quick. Let's say this clearly, real clearly for people, because the scam to the site is the whole system is bankrupt. That crew.
Okay, the scam to site, the whole system is bankrupt. That's actually, I'm pretty sure that's a rumor. The only reason I keep up with Fort Knox news is because I trained at Fort Knox, right? That used to be where they trained cavalry, Bradley, and tankers was at Fort Knox. And we used to do like battalion and different size units. We used to go run by Fort Knox. And I always heard that it hadn't been officially audited since blah, 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 whatever, 60 years, 100 years, whatever. But apparently it has been audited. I had to Google this a while back. I think it was in 2019 was the last congressional audit where they sent congressional representatives there, not actual Congress people, but they sent congressional representatives there to do it. And then before that, in like 2014 maybe, the Treasury did this crazy in-depth thing where they like fucking stamped every piece with a corresponding number and wrote it down or some shit. I had to look it up a while back. I think it's a wives' tale because I still hear it all the time, like a rumor. I still hear it all the time. But I was interested in it when I saw that. I thought, man, I used to run by Fort Knox, so I started looking into it. I could be wrong, too. I'm just telling you what I found.
At the core of this, that's actually running it in the city.
Fort Knox holds about 150 million ounces of gold, somewhere around there. That would be about, depending on the weight, it'd be a little less than $300 billion.
London, the city within the city, is not bankrupt. They just have done sleight of hand with all of the ETFs they control, all of their.
Okay. They're not bankrupt. They're just doing sleight of hand with it.
And 50 other ways that you haven't seen in the digital world. So it's real dangerous to go with the information that you're getting out in the world, because most all of that is just like a magician. You're seeing what they want you to see, not what's actually happening as far as they're concerned with the real title deed.
By the way, the one audit that they always point back to when they talk about this that hasn't been audited is a crazy audit they did in like the 50s or some shit, 1952, where they actually went in. Every bar was physically touched, inspected, drilled into. The shavings were put on you know how they do a gold acid test? I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. The last good one like that was a long time ago. It's where they take your gold and they rub some of it off on basically sandpaper, kind of smooth sandpaper, emery paper. And then they have different levels of acid for different qualities of gold. So you have like 18 karat, 24 karat, you know, all that shit. And they run that acid across it. And if it eats it away, then it's not that level. If it stays there, then it is that level.
Legal ownership of assets and mechanisms of control. What we're going to be in a fight over before it's all done is just like, you know, going to some kind of a gold-backed currency. They were going to go to a gold.
Anyways, they drilled in it and everything to check it. And I'm assuming that's because they had done years of trading with foreign countries and foreign powers and this and that. And some of that gold that's still in there may date back to the fucking Civil War. Who knows? So I'm sure some of it was probably fake. I don't know. You would think, like, I mean, people's been scammed before. I wouldn't put it past the government to get scammed. Hell, they just did a gun buyback program the other day, and a guy printed off like 85 fucking 3D printed non-functional weapons and sold them all to them.
That currency too. They wanted to use Gaddafi's $350 billion they stole from him in gold. They were going to launder it through Haiti mines in part and through Indonesia and a handful of other places for their cryptocurrencies. We actually have massive reserves of gold. And I have.
By the way, while he's talking and really boring, do you think this woman knows what she's doing? Or is this just a happy little accident here? It says, don't you just love the motion of the ocean? Boat size matters when the waves toss you around. You think she knows what she's got going on there? Or it's just an accident and she's just oblivious that her lady giblets are pressing out both sides? Trying to make some baby batter up in this bitch. What do you think? Heads or tails? And what the fuck is the dog doing? This is a dog sticker rocking back and forth. I've been mesmerized. While you guys have been listening to 107, I've been watching this video on loop for about 25 minutes. I still need to do some research to see if it's an accident or not. But I'll take one for the team. I'll handle all of this personally, and you guys shouldn't have to worry about it. She got some big old titties for an older lady. Big old crow's feet and big old titties. Anyways, back to the video at hand.
People that had to go off the grid.
Yeah, she's on YouTube doing all kinds of stuff in shirts too small. Have you guys ever seen, I don't want to change the subject too much. I do want to get to this video because there's some stuff that I want to address in here. Have you guys seen how cleaning videos are basically now the safe for YouTube porn? Like they put on like short shorts, like their ass cheeks hanging out, and you can see their whole moose knuckle up through the crotch, and they're not wearing a bra, and their nipples are so fucking hard. When they're cleaning glass, they have to worry about literally cutting glass, and then they just go around and clean the house, and they just put the video like or the phone in their crotch or down their shirt or whatever. But the cleaning videos are the new safe for work porn on YouTube. It's very weird.
And a half ago now. In federal positions. And I understand what the intent is, which I don't know that I'm free to tip the hand exactly. I think I have to hold back there. But there is an excellent plan.
So he can't tip his hand, but there is a plan in place. That's what he says.
People that had to go off the grid.
Yeah, yoga ones too. You're right.
You have massive reserves of gold. And I have people that had to go off the grid almost a year and a half ago now in federal positions. And I understand what...
So he claims that we have massive reserves of gold, and some of his friends who were in federal positions had to go off the grid a year and a half ago.
What the intent is, which I don't know that I'm free to tip the hand exactly. I think I have to hold back there. But there is an excellent plan.
There's an excellent plan in place, but I can't tell you anything about it. Nothing. Not a single fucking thing about it, because I can't tip my hand. Got it.
Going to a gold-backed currency.
She's body doubling. It was definitely doubled up. I saw it. Double your pleasure, double your fun.
And I think it's absolutely brilliant. But it's not precisely what is understood as Gasara and Nasara in the current tense or the past tense.
By the way, Mel Carmine and these people push us straight into Sargasara. World peace, Vatican gold, millions of dollars, you know, all bullshit too. I mean, one's is just as much bullshit, but at least he's trying to relate it to something that could actually happen. But theirs is just straight up bullshit. They don't even try to, they're just like, yeah, it'll be amazing. We don't understand it. That's because you're not in the fifth dimension yet. You got to get on our level. Cool.
Variation of that, but it's not what most people are looking for. Because at the end of the day, if you allow them to destroy the dollar, you destroy contract law, you really would damage the country in ways that we can't allow to happen. So there's a...
Yeah, but aren't those contracts all fraudulent?
It doesn't matter that they're fraudulent. It does, but
Well, it was, yeah, it does, because it was upheld by the Supreme Court. Yeah, it was back in the 90s.
Oh, here we go.
Looking for, because at the end of the day, if you allow them to destroy the dollar, you destroy contract law, you really would damage the country in ways that we can't allow to happen. So there's a...
Yeah, but aren't those contracts all fraudulent?
It doesn't matter that they're fraudulent. It does, but
well, it was, yeah, it does, because it was upheld by the Supreme Court. Yeah, it was back in the 90s.
Yeah, hold on. Let me say it. Maybe there's lots of stuff that happens that you know. I'll use the Brunson case for an example. Do oaths mean something? Well, the question is
it doesn't matter that all the contracts are fraudulent. Well, it does, but it doesn't. Okay.
Court, do they want to take a chance on wiping out the whole system? Do they have a bunt position? What are the consequences of taking the action? You know, you can go through an intersection where somebody's racing into the intersection.
By the way, another update. If you want, first of all, if you want to support the show, do that by sharing, commenting, or whatever. I know Phil canceled tonight. Well, I just found it out at the start of this show. So if you're here because Phil canceled, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the hate watches. Thank you for viewing. I appreciate it. But if you want to support the show, like, share, comment, engage with the video so more people can see it. We're going to go over a couple of the things specifically mentioned here, and then we'll skip ahead. Mel Carmine is a huge grifter. We're going to talk about him a little bit and his background. If you want to support the show financially, you're more than welcome to. The first thing you need to do, though, is go to coldbeer.fund and don't even worry about donating. Not financial, nothing. Go to coldbeer.fund, my website, and check out my Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, Facebook, TikTok, Rumble, and Discord links. They're all at the top. They're all good. If you click one of them, it'll open straight to my thing, and then click follow. Then click follow. Then click subscribe. Then click whatever the free version is, because I will disappear one day. You will be looking for me, and no one will tell you where I'm at. I lost the channel for 2 years, and then YouTube just randomly gave it back to me. And people showed up after 2 years of not being on that channel and said, oh, I was wondering where you went. I thought you just quit. Go to coldbeer.fund. My website actually works. And follow me on multiple platforms, please. At least platforms where I can announce to you that I've been banned. If you want to support the show financially, you can use any of these links. We have Dono Clip. It's a pretty cool one. You can record a personalized audio or video clip. Buy me a coffee. A lot of people like. Patreon for extra content. We're not going to get a Patreon show tonight because I'm just too upset today. And probably tomorrow. I'll make that up on Saturday. You can use the skull to donate. We've got merch links. We've got a donate button that doesn't send any alerts if you'd rather do that and not interrupt the show. But all these links work perfectly. And if you go over to the merch shop, we re-released a new T-shirt, Resist the Grift T-shirt, a re-release of some old merch we have. We got T-shirts, coffee mugs, pillows, and stickers. But any of those things are cool. Thank you very much for the support. You guys keep the show free 7 days a week. By generously supporting the show. Thank you.
You have the green light, and I don't care if they're coming the wrong way. I have the right of way. Well, you might be dead right going through the intersection. There's and the other thing is within the Federal Reserve System. And
that was his fucking announcement. Don't mean to change the subject, but Brad Barton just announced he's doing lives again. Now that he's got millions of dollars in his fucking insurance scheme going. Got it.
Critical. It's just like with the agreements related to, say, the Zim bonds and the dinars and everything else. Okay, it's a game by Hoyle. Who wrote the rules? Are we playing American football or are we playing European football? What kind of football are we playing here today? And they changed the rules. So if you're in the reserve system, well, yeah, we've got these agreements and they're international and everybody's done this and that. In a heartbeat, push comes to shove, all's fair in love and war. We can throw those rules out the window. That's why when we did what we did to take out the ruble, there was an executive finding. And the finding was very obscure. And the finding said that, the ruble was traded inside Russia, and you couldn't take the ruble outside and carry it anywhere. And Reagan signed a finding after he came back from Reykjavik, and that finding had been written up 9-10 months earlier and not acted on, been sitting in his desk drawer. And all of a sudden he pulls it out, and the finding says that if a country's currency is for internal trade only, essentially, I'm shortening it to make it simple, that if the currency shows up outside the country and they have a law internally about trading that currency outside the country, that it's their law inside their country. But if the currency becomes available outside the country, it's free trade, it's fair trade, and it's not a violation of international law to buy and sell their currency.
There you go.
So it's this very
It's not a violation.
Executive finding that created the legal basis for us to do what we did. Trump has the executive order allowing seizure of any and all assets, currency, property, everything else, if it's used in any kind of human trafficking. Doesn't have to be kids, and you can then define what constitutes human trafficking. You can go grab everything from everybody. Okay, so all those agreements, all those laws can go out the window in a heartbeat, and people are like, no, it says this, it says that, it says something else. In the right situation, believe me, we can come up with a law to nullify just about anything that's been agreed to or said.
There's a dono clip right there. As soon as the mods verify the dono clip, I'll play it. But the way it works, guys, is if I don't play it on the stream, if I forget, or if for some reason it violates TOS, we've not had one like that. The mods review them and approve them before I play them. But you don't even get charged. So even if I forget, sometimes I forget announcements. You won't even get charged. So it's pretty cool.
Even with the Supreme Court, they're just kabuki theater right now because we're under continuity of government. Are we not?
Hold on. Okay, so that's a really good question.
We under COG or not?
At a technical level.
Look, Will, Jennifer Mack means the head of the bull in the dong, and I bought plenty of dongs and dinars. Okay?
Thank you very much. I'm not exactly sure who played that, but thank you very much for the donation and support. I appreciate it. The dong and the dinar.
Look, Will, Jennifer Mack means the head of the bull in the dong, and I bought plenty of dongs and dinars.
Dongs and dinars. Jennifer Mack, the head of the bull. Thank you very much for that dono clip. I appreciate it. Thank you for the donation and support. That was back through Straight Runner. I appreciate it. Did one of the mods play that?
Level. We have been under the grip of a continuity in government operations since SES was created in 1979. And a variation of that has existed all the way back to 54 with, at that time, Strategic Air Command, now Strategic.
Kid by the side of the road, guys. You got to get his book. If you haven't read everything he's ever written or sussed out everything he's ever grifted, you don't know.
There's a competition over which one has control in the current situation. But for all intents and purposes, and I can have that conversation, I already have numerous times. I don't think there's anybody else out in the open that actually knows this material better than I do from all the various angles. But if you get too out in the weeds on this, you get lost. Just because something is set up to be done doesn't mean it's functionally being done that way right now, or that you're going to see it exercised that way out through the various agencies. What we're seeing right now going on in the country is the opportunity for American citizens to get a better grasp and hopefully even grip on what's been going on right in plain sight in front of them for a number of years.
I think they're going through this hard knocks is what they're doing, is they're being taught the education of civics that they didn't learn in school intentionally because they took it out. And so with you having all of this being done,
it's all because they took civics out of school.
People about what? The Constitution, how government works, all the things that they had no idea in the past that they're waking up to because they're being exposed to it by basically the Q team walking this through exactly how they're doing it with the alliance. They're showing people the corruption so that they can go, oh shit, this is what we need to be focused on and pull our head out of our, the sand, we'll just put it nicely, and wake up to it so that they can wake up to this organically. A lot of us woke up to this, back 20 years ago or more. And my crowd that we're talking with here, a lot of it is we're kind of further down this path. We're not in the wake up stage. Like the other guy on here with us is, Ty Special Forces. And we've been around this theater.
Brad Barton is going to start a locals on Rumble
for some time. And what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to get down to some nuts and bolts of really what
I had civics in school. Well, I guess it was combined with U.S. government. U.S. government and civics was taught in school. Yeah.
Them passing control over to the military, as they said on that fraudulent, inauguration day that happened multiple days in filming and everything else. Right. Excuse me. So, what's truly taking place because the military and continuity government has been functioning, keeping things rolling, but in a way to be able to wake up people so that they can wake up to this in a non Civil War type stance. Because, you know, if it didn't go down the way it is and people being able to wake up, the country was so divided because of what the mainstream media had done with, you know, the families, everything else as far as it goes. But we have got to begin to expose people to what's truly taking place, and that the financial system has got to collapse. The petrodollar is dead, and it's got to go back to something that is constitutional as the republic, which Trump has already signed the new Declaration of Independence. I'm fully aware of that. My people are fully aware of that. I'm sure you're fully aware of it. And with that, we as individuals have to understand that what does the Constitution say? It says that we are to use coined or stable money, not paper, not something that's not pie in the sky. That was all the corrupt
Pie in the sky.
Controlling ever since the 1871. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say the original Constitution of the United States was very clear in that all debts were paid in gold and silver coin. So when people say a gold-backed system, from my perspective, it's not necessarily the gold-backed system, but it's the precious metal system, right? Gold and silver coin. That was the original Constitution pre-1871. Once rewritten in 1873, 72 and 3, all of that went out the window, and literally everything that's happened since, from laws and regulations and what have you, have been completely illegal and in complete what's the word I'm looking for? The complete opposite
fraudulent.
of what. Well, fraudulent. Yeah. The different words. It's complete.
The complete opposite of legal. What word am I looking for? The complete opposite of legal. I want to say consciousness. Consciousness, is that it? The complete opposite of legal. Let's call in an expert. Phil Godlewski on the horn. Oh, the complete opposite of legal. What is the opposite of legal? I'm stuck.
Says. And I'm sorry, Kyle. So you jump back in. I just want to mention that real quick.
Yes, and
Juan does own an ugly dress. Juan offered like a $10,000 reward for anybody who could find him Melania Trump's Gucky dress. Gucky. Gucci. Gucky. Fucking idiot. Jesus Christ. Gucky.
yes, and so if we look at everything after the fact of 1871 and the new establishment of DC, the corporate DC, owner to the crown, the Bar Association, and the law system has not been laws. They've been policies and procedures. And so everything that after that, for us to go back to a republic and understanding that we're a republic, all of those have been impositions against us to control us outside of our sovereignty. Exactly. And that we as a people have to learn to become sovereign again, just as you wrote in your book very eloquently, that we as a people have been robbed and stripped of our God-given rights because of their intent on everything that they have done for.
I was the 5th person to join Brad Barton's Locals account.
Hundreds of years. It's not just been
Yay.
A short-lived thing. They are always in this for the long game. They have always been in it for the long game. And
he went on Nino's show and said that Melania's dress was very revealing. It had comms hidden in it because it was a 6-sided box and 6 sides and pentagrams and octograms and all this hexagram, all this crazy shit. And then he's like, oh, that's only one of like 10 dresses. You know that, right? And I'm actually looking for one for a little museum piece we're putting together. If anybody can find that, I'll give them a quite a substantial, I would say like $10,000 probably for that Gucky dress. Gucky.
So where do you see, Juan, where we're at right now with the...
And Nino's like, okay, yeah. Yeah, thank you very much, Papito.
Banking system and collapsing because it's falling apart.
Did you know my mom wrote a book? It's called Being Brown in America. Check it out. She loves your reviews.
What happened right now is like kindergarten school compared to what happened in...
That's right, Julie Van Horn. You must have seen it.
And it's been falsely propped up because it's all just ones and zeros, and they can do that for a time in the season. But that season is over.
Well, and I appreciate you mentioning the book. I mean,
Here we go. We're getting to some good content now.
Steph said the way that need to be said, I felt.
Don't worry. It gets more heated soon.
Talking about right this minute.
Right. And so here's, I'm trying to say this deftly so that we can say a lot of trigger words.
Okay.
That will fit within our crowd, our circle here.
I certainly hope so.
Accurate or not understood in the broader population. Okay. So let me just pop one on you.
We can say some trigger words here in our community that may not be fully accurate, but other people won't understand it. What?
Be fully accurate words that will fit within our crowd or circle here. But
Fit within our crowd or circle here.
may not be fully accurate or not understood in the broader population. Okay.
May not be fully accurate or not understood by the broader population here.
So let me just pop one on you. Alliance. Okay. So in a correct understanding, for example, in let's say Bible circles, people have this feel good attitude. They want to include everybody. So they might use a term from the Bible, and you have to ask them to define that term to make sure that what they're saying and what you're hearing is the same thing. Because a lot of times they might be worshiping God, but it's not the same God you're worshiping. Okay. When you say alliance, you can go into.
I'm assuming he married that Jennifer Mack lady, right? Were they not like together?
Is it the Alien Alliance from the Galactic Federation? Is it the Global Alliance within a corporate elite that are working together, the Davos crowd type of thing? Is it a banking community alliance and the 13 families that are running the monetary systems around the world? Is it a secret society alliance like the Monolith in DC and all their connections and all the various things? Is it SMERSH? Is it Scepter? Is it Spectre?
I don't think the grifters
Anonymous
can
gifted
quit.
Vern_Malpass22 a subscription. An anonymous user gifted a tier 1 sub to Vern_Malpass22.
Thank you for the gifted sub. I appreciate that. And thank you for gifting Vern one. He's a long time viewer. Thank you.
We've got all sorts of different things. So when we say alliance, I can think of a whole bunch of alliances, some of which have pieces into other stuff, and it might not mean the same thing. And we don't want to get bogged down in that. Let me just back up for a second and say this. The greatest threat to America, and you mentioned it a moment ago, Civil War. And I really went hard and deep on this with, for example, the people that were there on December 18th of 2020 with President Trump. And Pat Byrne wrote some articles, was very critical of the president. And even in the weeks afterwards, and some of the other people who were in the room, I made a very, very, very harsh point of making sure they understood that the decision not to proceed with the Insurrection Act was absolutely the correct decision. He did take the time to consider again and to make sure that all the T's were crossed, all the I's were dotted. Did we miss anything? Whether or not that would make sense, and gave room, in fact, for Sidney Powell to come back the next day and draw up what that would look like with access to records inside the White House in secure systems. And that was revoked before she got there the next morning.
Okay. Instant revoked.
We know this now. I said it at the time.
By the way, I think we just found out some new info from Phil. It's not somebody gave me this info, some research they did, but we'll cover in a minute. If you want to stick around with that, we're going to watch a little bit more of this, and we're going to start skipping around on it. And then we got some more info for Phil. Wasn't everybody kind of curious about Phil's assistant?
But now we know it from congressional records.
That's it, CJ, right there. Thank you, CJ.
And that Sidney wasn't allowed back in is because Trump met with senior military general staff and admirals who overnight, and this is part of the January 6th investigations from the last Congress, that he met with them and they advised him not to sign the Insurrection Act. And the reason was because this has been gamed out in supercomputers numerous times. What you're seeing going on in the country right now has been gamed out with all sorts of variations, literally thousands of times. If we do this and this and this, what happens? Do we get control back of the population? Does the public generally go in this direction or that direction? Do we spook things? Do we lose contract law? Do we lose the court system? Do you lose too many areas of the country into some type of
do we?
Regional chaos, etc. And remember, it's not just a computer program. The people that we're fighting have positions of authority inside the U.S. government, a captured operation. You have a couple of different teams vying for control. As I said, you have Senior Executive Service, the largest branch of government that nobody knows exists, running a continuity in government.
What the fuck did he just say? Hold on.
Authority inside the U.S. government, a captured operation. You have a couple of different teams vying for control. As I said, You have senior executive service, the largest branch of government that nobody knows exists.
Oh, I explained this the other day, but it was like towards the end of the video. I guess many people didn't see it. If you're talking about Phil's foreclosure, all that is basically a while back, Phil had a piece of property that got foreclosed on. He basically forfeited the property for the disclosure. It doesn't have a house on it or nothing. It's just a piece of land. It got foreclosed on. Well, he owed like he owed what the property was worth, like 230 or something, 220, 210, whatever it was, a little over 200,000. The property went to a true sale by the sheriff. So basically it got sold, a true sale by the sheriff at courthouse or whatever. And when it sold, it only brought like 160 or 180. So the creditor, the person who technically owned it and put the lien on it for Phil, the bank, they've been trying to get Phil to come to court, and it seems like he's dodging their subpoenas to come to court. They said they've tried multiple times. They've tried at multiple addresses, that they believe he's dodging it. So what they're asking the judge to do is to give a true value to the property. So basically, everybody, when Phil forfeited it, everybody thought it would still be worth 220. It wasn't. It sold for less. So they need Phil there so the judge can assign a true value. Phil hasn't been showing up, so they're just asking the judge to do it without Phil. Assign a true value. And then once the judge says, okay, court ordered true value was whatever it was paid for it, $168.99 or whatever, $990. Whenever that goes through, they can go after Phil for the remainder in collections or a payment or whatever. So basically, he's going to end up owing like it would devastate me if I ended up owing like $40,000 or $50,000 to somebody, and they're trying to seize my assets. But Phil's made so many millions, I don't know why he just doesn't go to court and pay it. It's actually a pretty small thing. It's not an actual house. It's just a piece of land. And in Phil's realm of he's made millions off his followers, $40,000 ain't going to be shit.
Running a continuing government operation behind the scenes, and you have other players having to fight that, radically less funded, but with greater overall firepower at the end of the day. And what are they trying to do? Not allow one more loss of a citizen than absolutely can be prevented. But we are in an internal type of
one more loss of a citizen than can absolutely be prevented. What?
And it's war by another means.
You missed WW3? I wouldn't doubt it.
But he told you
I am skipping ahead some. I know it doesn't seem like much.
He wouldn't mandate it. And
here he is. Here he is defending Trump. So a lot of Trump loyalists are mad at Trump because of what they believe and what they believe to be true about the vaccine. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. We don't get into that argument here. I'm not a doctor. But Trump clearly endorses it. But here he is defending him, of course.
And so in this contest, for example, people get all upset because Trump, go get the thing in your arm, okay? But he told you 27 times he wouldn't mandate it, and you could treat it other ways. 27 times. So at the end, this was going to happen anyway because it was a worldwide operation by the people behind this. He didn't give in. He just gave you all the data you needed, but then you had to make a decision on your own which side to choose. This is Red October. And then we accelerated at the enemy's sub that fired.
So because he said it's good, because he claims it's his, because he claims he's the one who got it, he's the one who did it, he's the one that everything, he's the one who made the vaccine, trying to take full credit for it. At least he said, the choice is yours.
Just before it could harm. We were in a much different kind of a fight than most people care to think through. They want simple answers and just simple yes and no, and it's a more complex situation than that. The scripture says that a simple-minded person suffers because of it. If you don't want to be bothered with all the details, you can't understand,
Simple-minded person suffers because of it. Think about that, Phil.
And you hated the Nazis.
They also say one who corrupts minors burns in hell. I think that's in That's in God Leviticus.
Did you jump out in the middle of the street and wave your briefcases around and demand that the tank stop moving? You just get run over. If you want to survive and if you want to make a difference, you got to get in there and fight the problem a little bit more creatively. And that's the situation we're in. You got to use your head if you want to make it through this, because we are.
Yeah, like 1,000 people have announced tonight that Brad's on locals.
At war, and whether it's your own physical body and life, you have to get savvy fast, and then.
Yeah, I understand. Somebody says, "Man, he won't let go of a dime. It's not like he worked for his money. He grifted it." Yeah, he'll spend it on stupid shit, but he won't pay his fucking bills or his IRS bill or buy insurance or none of that shit unless it's tribal. But, he paid his IRS bill off finally. You think he would just go take care of this too?
Make some decisions. And at the end of the day, for example, when you talk about just going back to physical coinage.
Physical coinage.
Receipts for physical coinage, silver, gold certificates can work.
God damn, is fucking Captain Kyle in a street race? Look, watch his camera shaking shit. What the fuck did he? That's the NOS, bro. Ejectocito, cuz. Look at this motherfucker. White knuckled. Has he been driving like that the whole time? I feel like he's got road rage through the video.
Can work, that can be melted down and all that. There's probably variations in there, but at the end of the day, what we're really not going to allow happen is that
it's like they're filming for Fast and Furious 47.
Dollar gets destroyed. What you're actually going to see is that the dollar pre-exists.
This is a family.
It has been captured, going back to something that is.
Look at him.
Pre-1871 thing, or whatever, makes all kinds of sense. And we actually have.
He must be late for something.
The best reserves on planet Earth, if not the best, available to us. We just gotta go ahead.
I'm gonna start carrying around a gold brick and a chisel, and just chiseling off anybody that needs money for me. I just chisel you a piece
and access it the way that the plan is in place to access it. So all of that said, what's the real story here? How do we bring as many American citizens intact through this as possible? You can have a continuity in government operation that only the guys in the bunkers survive. Okay, well, that was the bad guys' plan. That was the Black Hats' plan. They were all making their bunkers. They were gonna, let the buzzards pick our bones and then come out after they had a couple of extra drinks, and the ground's well fertilized with everybody else's the next 200 years, and they start the world over. And you can't, and maybe you're the last man standing.
So we could have done this and just put some people in the bunker, and they'd be the only one that survives. But instead, we try to do this legitimately so everybody survives, except for the hundreds of thousands of people who have died, starving, hungry, froze to death, unalive themselves because of nothing happening. We can start with the ones in Afghanistan that died, and we could probably move on from then. So it's not everybody survived. Even feels like, how much is enough? I'm angry, and you can tell because my voice is slightly higher pitched.
But at the end of the day, they'll find you too with their systems and machines and AIs and everything else. We need everybody to survive relatively intact. And the fight that we're up against and who we're going to be fighting at the end of the day is, unfortunately, and nobody wants to hear this for the most part, it's the British Commonwealth. The Brits and the banks backing them are trying to put us at war.
Okay. It's the British Commonwealth that's doing this. The Brits are trying. I knew those British people in my chat are shady as fuck, dude. M. Seeker has been slowly talking with a Russian accent. And Intel lady has a very unique position because, she works in Intel. So you got to watch those motherfuckers. Angry Phil's voice always squeaks. Yeah. Maha! Or whatever that Angry Bird sound is. Maha! Anyways, you got to watch those guys. They're going to try to get us to fight Russia and China so they can swoop in and take everything over.
And Russia's first up. And so the intent is that we take each other out and they just come into the aftermath and put all the pieces together and pick and choose what they want. And whoever's.
Yeah, if it says what's watching him on Facebook, if it says 12K, then that's what's watching him on Facebook. If he's telling you that, I wouldn't trust it. But if it says it on Facebook, like Mine says mine's not shit on Facebook, but mine says my live viewers are 25. You know, I don't get many on Facebook, but that's his lane. That is granny gutter, and that is the lowest of the low.
Left over, subservient to them, because we're both so weakened. We're all so weakened that they don't have to fight us. They don't have to fight us directly.
There you go. We're all so weak that Great Britain will take over. The fucking reptilian queen. Everybody thinks she died. She's hibernating. She's waiting for battlefield season.
In the meantime, as though they're dead and gone. It's just like saying the whole British Commonwealth, yeah, it's all gone. It's just a shadow of what it used to be. No, it isn't. That's what BRICS is all about.
Yeah. Juan, you had said earlier that there are things being put into a computer to basically try to figure out what the outcome is going to be. Are you basically
okay? Computer predictions.
That there is military with quantum computers at Mar-a-Lago. I've heard this before.
Military with quantum computers at fucking Mar-a-Lago. They're called the Mar-a-Lago Military Men. Mania, man.
There's nothing at Mar-a-Lago. That is a falsehood. It's not even worth starting there. Go ahead.
It's not at Mar-a-Lago. Quantum computing is technically a thing, but even within the realm of quantum computing, the people who support it are still like, it's kind of gimmicky right now. You know what I mean? Like, we still got it's going to be something one day, and it'll probably be huge, but right now it's kind of gimmicky. Like, even the people who support it and are working in that field say it. Quantum computing is not, I don't know what the fuck they think it is, but it's not that.
Okay.
No, it's not at Mar-a-Lago.
In regards to Jassara Nassara, there are two teams on the field, the Klaus Schwab team. And see, when I went in
the Klaus Schwab team. So these people believe that we're in a never-ending battle, apparently, of good Nassara versus bad Nassara. So if you bring up, like, that Nassara you're sharing is a lie, that's from Dove of Oneness, the actual law says this, that's never been passed, they'll say, oh, you're talking about the bad one. You support the bad Nassara that, like, kills orphans and shoots penguins with heat guns. Like, we're talking about the good one.
This, and everybody on this call, we're very pro Jassara, the right one, not the one that's backed up by Klaus Schwab. You're gonna have nothing and be happy. We're talking about the one that's winning by a big margin. I don't think the other team has ever scored a touchdown to be quite.
That's right, Michelle. You're over there in Granny Land.
I had to go out and prove myself.
Oh, Tina, Julie Van Horn.
Evidence to the table. I've had debt forgiveness on my channel.
Oh, you guys.
I got at least a half a dozen people or more right now waiting in the wings for me to call them and say, okay, come on down, get your paperwork ready, your mortgage forgiveness, your car loan, your student loan, whatever. And so we have proven this.
This motherfucker here doesn't even live in the United States. You want to talk about how big a piece of shit Mel Carmine is? Hold on just a second. We'll talk about it. One of our members, Q Idiot, did some research on him. It's not good. I'll give you that much. So ML has a new scam called Quantum Healing Systems. Yeah. Let's see if I can back up far enough to find. I was going to go over this after he appeared off Liberty Warrior, but I kind of backed off of it. He doesn't even live in the U.S. He's been busted for all these different scams a bunch of times. He's now selling med beds in your pocket. He claims he's opening a healing center. He's got a criminal past. Like, he's not a good guy, okay? He's not a good guy. He's kind of a piece of shit. If you go to his, oh no, that's a different one. I was going to say his LinkedIn profile. I almost opened up Steve Harvey. Isn't it crazy that SGNon's name is Steve Harvey? Isn't that crazy? Steve Harvey. I like Steve Harvey. I do not like SGNon. I'll tell you that much. Let's see. It's Carmine. There are tons. Okay, no, not that. Yeah, if you search Carmen, the stuff that digs up, we posted since last April. It's one of his ex-admins. So they have a lot to say about this windbag. Long story short, because of his focus on XRP and QFS, Whiplash started featuring some of his posts. Mel Carmine got excited about getting recognized and knew this meant getting more subscribers for this kind of exposure. So despite direct warnings from myself about what Whiplash actually did with those lobster and all those fake tokens, he went full speed into Emily Whiplash invade. So this is from some people that were around Mel. So it says, yes, if you search the channel for Mel Carmine, there's stuff dug up on him we've posted since last April. I'm one of his ex-admins. I have a lot to say about that windbag. Then it goes in the story about the XRP and all that bullshit. He is not creative enough to really put his own clever spin on things. He has absolutely no technical ability and doesn't actually read anything. He consistently seeks out other talking heads who have a following who would be favorable to his flavor of Q-spin just to forage more followers and find any new grifts to peddle. That's how they all network. So Mel doesn't even really have a spin or a story or a lie to tell. He just goes out and gets that's why he's always on someone else's show or someone's always on his. He just hosts it and then agrees with them or disagrees with them, and then they all make up at the end. That's how they all network and why he's recently rubbed shoulders with Charlie Ward. So now I don't think he's remotely capable of running his own big lie scam the way Whiplash does, but he takes a bunch of little ones from other scammers and sees what sticks. I'm still invested in XRP because of plenty of news and info from credible sources outside of Telegram. Let's see what else they said here. There's a whole fucking there's a whole shit dedicated to him. Forget the med bed, get the dildo. Product offering the Costa Rican clown. That was from Q Idiot, of course. Here you go. The terahertz, the healing dildo. I don't know if you guys have seen this. The healing dildo. He's selling that. It's the iTerra Care wand. It uses targeted frequencies that can penetrate the body up to 20 to 30 centimeters with zero discomfort or irritation. Every cell in the body has a frequency measured in hertz. Terahertz resonates at the same frequency as healthy human cells, generating millions of vibrations per second. The electromagnetic waves of the terahertz range are currently used in medicine as a biophysical factor for the correction of the several disorders. It is used for the correction of the several disorders. It integrates 3 top technology: terahertz, quantum, and optical quartz. What? It integrates 3 technology: terahertz, tera being a prefix that means what, 1,000, 100,000. What does tera mean? Tera unit. It's a trillion. Tera is a trillion. So a trillion hertz. Hertz is a frequency, right? Then it says optical quartz. What is optical quartz? It's a piece of quartz that's extremely clear. Optic quartz is clear quartz. It's a piece of quartz that's extremely clear. Any quartz, if you apply electricity to it, it vibrates at a certain resonating. That's how quartz watch works. Then it says quantum. What the fuck is quantum? What do you mean quantum? Quantum dildo? You can't even explain to me what quantum is, and you want me to shove one up in my happy time fun zone? The fuck out of here. Get out of here. Fucking idiot. Anyways, what else is listed here? That's Mel Carmine, by the way. That's who's up here at the top of this. Pro code Mel Carmine. So there he is, acting goofy as fuck. He was selling these at one point. So of course, you had to pay him $12,000 up front. Awesome. Let's see what else he's saying. Non-competition vehicles, electric cars are here. Stop buying gas. Contact Mel Puleo. This is his actual name. Mel Puleo. So he was selling electric fucking ugly ass fucking cars at one time. $12,000 up front, and then you'd get it. Maybe. It says less than 2 cents per mile. Electric cars are here to stay. Electric cars are here to stay. That's a big Republican talking point. At less than 2 cents per mile, can you afford not to drive an electric car? Who said you need a gun to start a revolution? If you want to help take down the oil cartel, misspelled cartel, here is your chance. We are committed to our planet and help people get the relief they need. But as any startup, we need your help to spread the word of mouth. Zero-gas-car.com. The EVX1 travel distance on one charge is 100 miles. Bullshit. Max speed is 68.35 P per hour. P per hour? Pull links? What the fuck is a P per hour? Potassium? Probability? It gives you 68.35% probability of running this hour. But that means you also have a 32.65% that it doesn't run. Priced at $11,999, includes delivery. Visit the site for more info. The EVX1 benefits are no gas, no oil changes, no oil or air filter, no transmission maintenance, no engine repairs, no tune-ups ever, and zero emissions. By the way, a lot of those are lies. So, of course, there's no gas. There's no oil changes. Well, it depends. You could have like rear end oil and shit in some of them, but that depends on how it's set up. Is it set up with, traction motors at all four wheels, or is it set up with a large motor and a drivetrain? No oil or air filter. Probably still have a cabin air filter. If nothing else, you probably still have a cabin air filter. No engine repairs. That's absolutely not true. You just transfer engine repairs from motor repairs. Motors do fail, even electric motors. No tune-ups ever. That's also not true. You can have stuff that's like fucked up with the car and you have to send it back. A bunch of different Tesla models have had issues, which Tesla's usually pretty good to fix the shit, but still. And zero emissions. Well, it made a lot of emissions when it was being manufactured in bumfuck China. Look at this car. You know what it reminds me of? You guys ever seen Family Matters? You know that car that Steve Urkel drives? Hold on. What is that? It is a BMW Isetta. There it is. Mel and his car just pulled up to the party. Talk about a fucking pussy magnet. That's why there's so many dents in the fenders. All them bitches just throwing themselves at him. God damn. Save some pussy for the rest of us, bro. Put some of that shit on layaway. You can't have it all. Look at that fucking interior. $12,000 up front, and that includes delivery, maybe. We'll see if we can get it back to you. Mel Puello. So Mel's been a scammer forever. Whatever is going on at the time, that's what he's scamming, okay? Whatever's going on at the time, that's what he's scamming. Here's some first finds on Mr. Puello. Very interesting. He's into solar scamming like Patriot Street Pussy. Oh, no. Like Patriot Street Pussy. What else does this say? Good blog on him. He's currently living in Costa Rica. How convenient to avoid the long arm of U.S. authorities. Yeah, it's kind of weird he's living in Costa Rica. Here it is. So this is a whole thing that we can go through someday on Mel. This guy kind of documents how big of a fraud he is and how long he's been doing it. So self-employed, that is not really the same information, which I can get found out on his LinkedIn profile where he calls himself to be the CEO and chairman at CM Puello Consulting, LLC. Went to Saddlebrook High School, located at 355 Mayhill Street, Suite 1, Saddlebrook, New Jersey, 07663, compared to his LinkedIn profile, where he provides the information that he visited the Felician College, located at 1 Felician Way, Rutherford, New Jersey. Lives in San Jose, Costa Rica, while he likes to tell us at his LinkedIn profile that he is living in North Miami Beach, Florida. That's the same thing he said on the car profile, but he hasn't lived in Miami in a long time. I think that everybody will understand that someone can forget where he's been living, can forget where they've been living, where he's been going to school, especially blah blah blah. Here he is they are trying every trick in the book to kill Trump. That's him with aliens and pot plants for some reason. Del Sol Energy Solutions is an LLC in Rincon, Puerto Rico. Our motto is converting energy conservation into a way of life. We are energy conservation specialists. We not only deal with our solar and renewable energy, we also work with states where energy is deregulated and help the residents and business owners save money on their electric bill. Working alongside Mel Puello for several years now, he's always been a resource of high integrity and strong compliance. Our business has been able to grow because of his network of knowledge, blah, blah, blah. These are all spam like, what do they call them, endorsements? This is all spam. Letter of reference. That's what it says. To whom it may concern, letter of reference. Here's a bunch more. all in somebody's spam email box. He's kind of a piece of shit. Del Sol Energy Solutions. It's not even a fucking company. But we can go over that over some other time. Let's get back and finish this up.
In spades, even though we've had a lot more people that don't want to come on camera. So where are you on the fact that there are two sides to the story? There's a quantum financial system reset, which
all right, so this is what I wanted to get to. There's a good quantum, there's a bad quantum. Yeah, sometimes he even messes up in them. Q Idiot's saying those are written by him. Some of them he even messes up in. He'll say Mel, blah, 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 Mel, he, blah, and then he'll say and talking about Mel.
Trump, the Q team, etc. And then there's the Klaus Schwab team.
It's probably not.
Do you guys think we could crowdfund one of these? Not the BMW Izetta. They're collector cars now. Do you think we could crowdfund one of these? I don't have $12,000 to give to Mel, but could you guys give me $12,000 just to see me wear it like a T-shirt and walk around my town? I don't think I'd fit in it. I just roll down the windows and stick my arms out and just walk around. Fat guy in a little coat.
Not accurate to call that a Trump team. What you have to understand is that.
Here's what he said. There's a Charles Schwab team, and then there's a Trump team. Both of them are going for bad or good Nasara, depending on which team they are.
There are two sides to the story. There's a quantum financial system reset, which is Nasara, Trump, the Q team, etc. And then there's the Klaus Schwab team.
It's probably not accurate to call that a Trump team. What you have to understand is that the game was always rigged for
the game was always rigged
insider club
for grifters. For people who are weak and feel hopeless to need hope. And if you give them a little bit of hope, you can charge them whatever amount you want. I'm seriously thinking about disappearing, just shutting this channel down, never fucking coming back, and reinventing myself as a cult leader. An online cult. I don't want to meet anybody in person. I'm too agitated most of the time and aggressive. And you just know by seeing my chat, hell, I accidentally run off people all the time just because the way I engage with people. But as long as we stay at a distance, I'm going to be a cult leader and finally make the fucking money I deserve.
Mm-hmm. And so there's always kind of, rules and laws and things like that were.
This shit here exposing these motherfuckers don't pay. I'll tell you that much.
Their game, their way, I guess is the only way I can think to say it. At the day though, and I'm trying to be as accurate as I can here. When you say Gasara Nasara, there is going to be financial resets. What we're going to fight for isn't the global reset that favors this Black Hat series of teams.
Okay, not the Black Hat reset, a different one.
That essentially, really in the broadest sense, that they're all involved in some form of human trafficking and other global crimes. And at the very least, freeze all their assets and in many, many cases, seize them and let them fight it out in court, international courts for a long period of time. In the meantime, what happens to the dollar?
What happens to the dollar?
Remove a lot of these financial instruments that exist in the digital world from being able to be transacted, you're going to suddenly have an increase in value of whatever remains. They've been inflating these numbers and making what you have worth less and less and less and less in order to protect contract law. And by the way, America's about business. If the cure is worse than the disease, if you make it so you can't conduct business in a predictable manner, then you're toast. And for example, a lot of people, I'm not going to owe any money. Okay, so what about the guy that bought the farm? Years ago, I bought a farm from a guy that was a longtime farmer. He's getting ready for retirement. He didn't want cash. He wanted to get 10 years with interest.
He wouldn't take cash. He wouldn't take cash. He told me that my farm's for sale, but he refused cash. Have you ever heard of someone refusing cash for a sale? Like, even if he did want like an annuity to pay out, all he's got to do is take that and deposit in the bank and set it up for interest. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wouldn't take cash. He wanted me to make him payments. Okay.
So he was getting his principal, plus he was getting interest, so he could retire with his wife and have income. And he didn't want cash. So he was getting his principal, plus he was getting interest, so he could retire with his wife and have income. And he didn't want cash. If I wanted to pay him cash, which I did, it was not happening. He wouldn't sell. He didn't want all that cash. He wanted the tax liability. He wanted to be able to spread it out over time. So
he wanted a tax write-off. You bought a piece of land for him, and he gave it to you for free because you didn't pay him anything, and he wrote it off on his taxes. Got it. Fucking lies, dude.
Because that money's not real. Who's
listen at 107 making fun of the fucking quantum tards, the Nasara tards.
And he didn't want.
My debt's forgiven.
It was not happening. He wouldn't sell. He didn't want all that cash. He wanted the tax liability. He wanted to be able to spread it out over time. So, if all of a sudden my debt's forgiven because that money's not real, who's getting hurt? Not me. It's him. So you've got gazillions of transactions that are like that would destroy the ability to have contracts between businesses, to have production capabilities.
My debt's forgiven.
Essentially stops business from happening, especially here in America. If you're in a third world country, if you just want to trade, you want to barter everything. Oh, great, that's fine. But that's not the makings for society with a division of labor based on contracts for production. So you won't have efficient division of labor and society, if you will, if you go that route. We don't want to go back to the Stone Age. So what we have to do, and this is why I say this has been intricately gamed out thousands and thousands of times. How do you protect the real person that made this all happen in the first place, the American citizens, and their wealth, their personal wealth, the thing that makes America different from so many places in the world, while still freezing the bad guys in place and stopping them? And most of the people that talk, Nasara, the Alliance, we're all working together and else, they really aren't thinking through, the infrastructure that keeps America working.
That's right. That's right. You ain't thinking through, assholes. Okay. Jesus Christ. Yeah, but I mean, like, the more we move towards electric cars, the more reliable they're going to be. Like, I've even got superchargers in my hometown. And you can say, yeah, if the grid goes down, they're useless. Well, if fucking gas is sold out, a gasoline car is useless. If you can't get to the gas station, it's useless. If for some reason gas becomes no good, it's useless. They're all going to have their downfalls. I personally like electric vehicles. I don't think they're where they need to be to like help the environment and shit. It costs a bunch. I just like them because they have like instant torque immediately. They're pretty quiet. I've always liked the Tesla cars just because Phil got one and I'm trying to be hashtag same team. Shit like that. But yeah, I mean, like the more we move towards that, the more reliable electric cars will be, the more superchargers they'll be, the more blah, 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 blah. Even your place of business or your work or whatever will be putting them in. We've got them here for some reason. I've only ever seen like 1 or 2 Teslas in my town ever. But we've got one down at the Food City as a supercharger.
Wait.
Hybrids are cool. Yeah, they run on gas and electric.
Because we've all been bought and sold. We all have bonds. I found hundreds of...
Here we go. We've all been bought and sold. I have bonds on my birth certificates. You ever checked your birth certificates, Wayne? I mean, Mr. W?
Millions of dollars worth of bonds and QB trust on myself that is partially freaking mine.
Yeah, but again, you can say the same thing. How much is a motor and transmission? How much is a motor and transmission to put in one? Or how much is a motor, I guess? That would be equal because you would say the transmissions would be the motors on an electric car. So how much is a motor to put in a car? It depends. If you got an older car, it's not that bad. If you got something new, like new pickup trucks, the whole fucking cab has to come off of.
And so does everyone else. And with the Treasury Department,
No charges in Little Haiti. They figured you guys figure out how to hotwire them and power your homes.
being now back, and the Federal Reserve consumed under it, it's nothing but bullshit that the federal note is still actually.
I know that my birth certificate's been traded over 11 times. I'm owned by some goat herder in Afghanistan. I seen it. Mike Penny showed me.
Out there because the banks all know that it's about to change, and it's not about to change to the.
Yeah, because numbers ever repeat. Like something couldn't be on the back of your birth certificate and it'd be like 9 digits long, and another 15-digit number somewhere in the world have those same 9 digits in it, could it?
Black Hat, CBDC, and XRP and Ripple. That freaking case with Ripple has been over for a freaking year and a half.
So like most car manufacturers, represent the lifetime of a. It's not for people who are not well off, I guess. It's for like upper middle class and above, probably, because they're the people who will get a brand new car and drive it to 150,000 miles and be done with it. Because that's what most car manufacturers say. Their battery will last 100, 150, 200,000 miles and needs to be replaced. So if you're the type of person that buys a car and drives it to 100,000 miles and gets rid of it anyways, that's fine. But like my Jeep has 218 on it. It wouldn't be good for me because I've gotten more use out of my Jeep, and I could replace the motor super cheap if I had to. I'm mechanically inclined. I can find those 4.0 6 cylinders. It's for people who get a new car every 5 or 6 years and they put less than 100,000 on them and blah, blah, blah. Or you just want a car to cruise around in, like a secondary car.
So we need to talk to people about what's really freaking happening. And
well, okay, hold on.
It is all.
We need to talk about what's really happening. Us two, Dr. J. So it wouldn't be good for that. You would probably have a battery replacement in there and it wouldn't be worth it. But let's talk about the politicians who are trading us around like poker chips. Juan, Papito, what have you done for your country? Sorry, I channeled my inner Nino.
Here's my concern.
I don't like to talk around things. I like to talk at things directly.
Okay, let me see if I can answer it in a way that makes sense for you guys. And look, I get all of these conversations. We could literally spend a few days and have a very fun, important, coherent conversation within our community, within our crowd.
Oh, there you go. MS Motorsports says sells cars.
The problem is that won't save America, and it's not going to happen in time with things that are in play.
We could argue about this all the time, but that won't save America.
Literally spend a few days and have a very fun, important, coherent conversation within our community, within our crowd. The problem is that won't save America, and it's not going to happen in time with things that are in play. And it's only one dimension of a multi.
Yeah, NerdWallet ranks it as you should expect to pay. It varies wildly, just like engines vary wildly, and installation varies wildly depending on the engines. But it says you can expect to pay anywhere from $4,000 to smaller size batteries included in hybrids, all the way up to $20,000 for the most expensive batteries, including installation. $4,000 to $20,000.
Level, multi-dimensional war that we're in, war by another method. When we took out the Soviet Union, and it's a good analogy to look at. How did we take out the Soviet Union? We didn't start with the ruble. We first weakened their cash flow by.
Well, you said you were insider trading stocks to fight the Ruskies, didn't you?
Lowering oil prices where they couldn't sell their oil and gas for profit. The extraction cost for oil and gas was 2 and 3 times what oil and gas was going for in the market because we drove the price of oil and gas down so low by having the Saudis ramp up production to outer space. We drove it so low, we nearly wiped out Texas in the meantime as a oil and gas supplier. So when you understand that was part of a war, gee, too bad about Texas and Oklahoma, but excuse me, we were trying to win a war that the alternative was nuclear weapons. Okay, but that was just one part. That was just one part
That was just one part. I don't give a fuck about your birth certificate, Kyle. I can see your hands shaking from here driving your car, bro. Drink another Monster. Go home and beat your old lady, Kyle.
And did SDI. We did a race with them to see whose industrial base could outbuild the other guy. And with the innovation of a free society, as opposed to a closed society where they weren't allowed to communicate freely. And then we forced them to agree to export.
Those white Monsters, they're like sugar-free or something. They're a pretty good beverage choice to go home and beat your old lady. They don't give you the shakes as much. You don't get the tunnel vision. You can see her if she comes at you from the side.
Clemson just resubscribed for 9 months.
Thank you very much, Clemson, for the resubscription. I appreciate it.
A lot of their scientists and engineers that were Jewish,
Clemson Jr.
that they had literally in a captive situation, that were the ones that were being innovative with a lot of the weapon systems, etc. And then we did the moral religion.
No, he gets pushback, Jay Bird. So one is, she says one isn't used to getting pushback. He gets pushback. It's usually, what's that hanging down thing in the back of Nino's throat? It pushes back against him all the time. Blunt force trauma back there. So he does get pushback. It's usually just across the mushroom head instead of in conversation.
Ethical war in Poland, and the whole challenge to the shipbuilding side, where they couldn't even build their ships because of the trade unions, but also.
Damn, Will, my husband drinks them white Monsters. That explains why I've seen you so many times with your shades on. Just saying. No, I'm just fucking kidding. I don't think your husband beats you. In a court of law, I would say that.
So, a lot of the world in the Western media, as the trade unions, was really the church, the Catholic Church, and the Pope goes over there and does this. We undermine their society, coming at it from multiple directions at multiple levels. A lot of what you're looking at.
Listen. Here's his word salad. Listen. Patriots around the world have been coming together against the evil cabal and the politicians that have put in place several factors to keep us down. They come in at multiple intervals, at multiple levels, from multiple directions, and once you have all these things just hitting you, where are you supposed to go? So we back up, we replan, we redeploy. We get back out on the modern-day battlefield, and we've got to get our nose to the grindstone. Because unless you're going to commit 100% to this mission, who knows where we're going to end up in the future? And literally, our nation's at stake. But what did you say? I don't know. I don't know. I was talking about hot dogs. I think hot dogs should be the American food of choice.
Is on the financial side, but we're being attacked with fentanyl and the drugs. We're being attacked with thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people literally a day.
Fentanyl too.
Coming over the border.
You gotta want it. Drink water and change your socks.
Putting challenges on us for resources, policing, all sorts.
For resources and policing.
With the churches and social conditions, social themes in the sexual revolution, etc. You can just go right down the ladder.
Did he say the sexual revolution?
Social conditions.
Mine doesn't revolve. It's more of a linear action. It does have a little slope to it. And when I get it just right, it'll have like an upward, like, I'll show you from the side, something like this. But I've never thought about sexual revolutions. I had to lay Mariah down on a lazy Susan. Imagine everybody else at dinner, what they're going to think.
Social themes in the sexual revolution, etc. You can just go right.
He just skimmed over that sexual revolution, etc. Like there's no break. Just keep going. I fucked it up.
And literally, it's about 30 different categories. Some are weighted more than others, but it's the death of 1,000 razor slashes. So if you get too fixated on any one lane, you could be completely right and miss the bigger picture. And we mentioned continuity in government. You have two different.
There you go. Two groups. They're fighting each other.
Decisive that sways things from one to the other.
The lazy Susan I put Mariah on. What sways things from one side to the other? That lazy Susan I laid Mariah on so she could be bred, stump broke.
Current situation coming at it as you want to come at it, say from the law or international trade rules, etc., I can tell you that SES wins that every time, and it's a wipeout for the rest of us.
It's a wipeout.
And if you go say, oh, the military's in charge of everything, no, they aren't. The military is not in charge of everything. That's why there's a war.
Wait a second. The military's not in charge of anything? Phil's going to be so disappointed. He was hoping that the white hat grand QAnon poobah Q++ was going to step in and intercept those 2,000 text messages from the Lackawanna County DA in his lawsuit that he filed and opened up this Pandora's box because he's dumb as fuck.
You have
all he had to do was shut his fucking mouth and say, that's the media, you know, see the way they treat me, mainstream media, they're part of mainstream media, they're liberal, they do these hit pieces, blah, blah, blah. But he couldn't keep his goddamn mouth shut, could he?
Striations, strata, where certain authorities exist that go to one side, and other strata,
You better drop it, Phil. You're going to lose, Phil.
This part that's completely hidden from the public side, you get to see glimpses of it, sometimes intentionally. Just like you mentioned the inauguration. Okay, you know what you saw? You saw one group pantsing. You saw one group pantsing the other right in front of the world.
There you go. One group pants the other one right in front of the world. Right in front of the world.
Okay, you pulled your drawers down and had
pulled their drawers down. Crumpled like a wet pair of drawers. This is his explanation of the inauguration. They showed them their dicks.
to laugh at them, but the fight's still on, and it's a big fight. So you can't say that, oh, they don't have anything going for them at all, because the puppets that you see visibly are not the ones you got to worry about. It's the ones behind the scenes that you can't see, and they can wipe you out where you're dead. You could be right, but if the game here is to fool us into doing exactly what they want us to do, which at the end of the day is jump in front of a train. To
Yeah, well, that ain't gonna happen.
well, hold on. We might. Here comes a train, motherfucker. Toot toot.
All the guy said is, we're not going to jump in front of a train. Well, hold on. Have you seen the way Kyle drives? If he's driving a train, we're all fucked.
Remember, the day is jump in front of a train to wipe out.
Yeah, well, that ain't gonna happen. We ain't
Well,
gonna
hold on.
Remember,
the only reason
we might
able to arrest Trump,
jump on that bitch
with the J6 stuff, is something that happened a year earlier, and nobody saw it in the rest of the world, that exposed all of the AI operations inside of numerous of the social media.
The AI operations. Oh, perfect.
But at the end of the day, that laid the groundwork for Musk to come in and do what he did. And no, he was never going to have to pay anywhere close to what he had promised to pay, because it's going to be, more and more exposed exactly how involved that AI.
Yeah, because there's no business.
Sandra says, I was going to pay off my van. Maybe I should wait. Just don't park it on the railroad tracks or anywhere near Kyle. Wherever Kyle drives, just consider not driving. Maybe that's best. What kind of van you got?
Business person would ever, no business person at his level, without military backing, which he is.
That wasn't where it came from.
I didn't say it completely came from.
That wasn't where it came from. Let me cut you off right there. Where it came from? Military backing.
Business person at his level, without military.
More and more exposed exactly how involved that AI.
Yeah, because there's no business person would ever, no business person at his level, without military backing, which he is.
That wasn't the way.
What's up, the realist? How's your bro doing?
I didn't say it completely came from there, but I said
it didn't come from anywhere there.
Because if the other guys knew that
he said I didn't say it completely come from. It didn't come from anywhere there.
Be able to do what he's doing.
They're very angry.
Put 3 times the money together to outbid him and keep it.
Juanito is used to being able to talk nonstop, no interruptions, no one pushes back, no one says anything, no one complains, no one's allowed to do anything. Everybody's just got to listen. Everybody's got to agree.
It from happening, but that was
the
not
reason it
happen.
didn't happen the way is because it didn't come from a known entity that was anticipated.
Okay.
And I'll talk about it at some point in the future. I won't talk about it now. I'm just telling you that a lot of this stuff.
You're wrong, and I won't talk about it until a different time. Okay? I like when he scolds Nino. Damn it, Nino, I've told you 10 times. Now just stop. What's really going on is... Oh, no. You're wrong. I can't tell you about it now, but trust me, you're wrong. I will reveal it in the future. He's still crazy, that's for sure.
And we're all on the same team here. So
You still do you still do electrical work and stuff, realist? I think your profile picture's got you in a hard hat, don't it? Are you a lineman or electrician?
I apologize if I sound a little bit over gripping.
No, I like
but
it.
it's very
No,
personal.
I like it. It's good, and I am personal.
I like it. I like it when you're a big fucking bitch to me. I like it when I can't say anything. You just start screaming I'm wrong because it's very personal to me. It's very personal to me. You guys see these boots all the time on the screen, but you don't understand. Sometimes I take these boots off, and I take them off at Mar-a-Lago.
Me as well, right?
Okay,
And I enjoy the debate on it very much so because that's where we get to the bottom of shit.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say though is this: within the alternative community, Q community, whatever you want to say, part of the problem is that
I'm assuming this has got to be a loop. I even think it might be a police car. It's got a brush guard on it. It's got to be a loop. This son of a bitch has been driving for 4 days.
we can have a very intelligent conversation within our own little crowd, and at the end of the day,
How far are you driving? Yes. No, I said how far? Yep. All. How many miles? All of them.
we won't move the dial. You won't save America, and you won't even be, at the end of the day, relevant. You'll just be a nuisance. So a thorn in somebody's ass, and they'll pull it out and move on. If we're going to save America, it's going to be because we take everybody.
24 years in a trade. I love. I've never been an electrician. I started out in like fitting and welding and stuff when I was young, but then I went to millwright, and then I started specializing in turbo mechanic. I used to love to work on the road before I was crazy. In the trades. I worked on the road. I didn't particularly care for the road. I made a lot of money there, but in the trades before I went crazy.
In the Old Testament, the pillar of cloud by day and the fire by night that the former slaves had to follow.
Congratulations. 24 years is an accomplishment. That's a long time to be in a trade.
After they left Egypt. It never
43rd year teaching. Damn.
Then the oldest man or the youngest child could move.
You've been teaching as long as Juan's been talking.
It didn't go at the runner's pace. A lot of people could have crossed the desert in 2 days, okay? But that wasn't the way God moved. He had to bring everybody along. So it moved and showed them that the protection, the move, you're going to move here.
How come my real name in here and not Desert Doxies doesn't... What's your Facebook account? I don't know. What's the name on your Facebook account? Whatever your name on your Facebook account is what name you're going to post under.
Here now you're going to move here now you're going to move here now. That's where the man is going to be. And it moved at a pace that everybody could move together. If we go racing off out there and, you have a lot of people that want to be early adopters, they want to anticipate. I got mine, too bad about you. You should listen.
Didn't you say you were into insider trading for several years where you made millions of dollars, and now you're complaining about people wanting to be early adopters?
In the first place, that's not going to save America. Some of what's got to happen and is happening. It's just like with the people dropping like flies every day.
I was wondering why I was like, I didn't set up your account. I don't fucking know.
We told them, we warned them.
You're good.
We pleaded with everybody around us. I did numerous videos myself on this, brought in all the experts that you now know the names of in the early Zooms, and put them together and put them out to the world.
I brought all the names together in the early Zooms, put them together and put them out. That was when I was Mr. W over on the Phil McConnell show, talking about how I was releasing secret information from the secret military bases.
Meetings, conferences around the country with those people, with the athlete.
Thank God none of he's so 107, as annoying as he is, and as a lot of people think he's a nobody, he's just hot air. He has a lot of support and he has a lot of money that is coming from this support and from other investors and blah blah blah. And he has been trying to place very specific people into very important roles within several states. He had like nine people he spoke with last election to put in Secretary of State positions. During the 2020 election, secretaries of states made a lot of decisions about certain contests and shit we were having around that time. He is making a dangerous turn. This man should not be allowed to coach and handpick someone serving your state, because you're going to get a fucking psychopath just like him.
with the other medical staff and doctors and attorneys, coaches and teams. And some listened, most didn't, but the ones that did saved their life. It's the same thing here. We're getting information out there. We're getting more and more people that understand it. But then this next phase is the hardest phase.
Next phase is the hardest phase. It's called the Philip phase. I sent you a message the other day on Telegram, Jay Bird.
A real storm, a tsunami. And the term every man for himself, that comes from tsunamis, because the weight of the water, the movement of the water is.
This is an absolute lie. This is one of the things I was going to cover. Did you hear what he said? The term every man for himself. The term every man for himself comes from tsunamis. Now listen to why he claims that. Here we go. Are you ready?
Storm, a tsunami. And the term every man for himself, that comes from tsunamis. Because the weight of the water, the movement of the water is so intense that even your closest friend, your spouse, your child, they could be right there, even in your grip, and the weight of the water pushing on them. You can't even hold yourself, let alone hold the next person to you oftentimes.
Okay. Billy T of West Virginia, thank you for the 6-pack. I appreciate it, brother. He says that every man for himself, that term comes from tsunamis, because your wife or your kid could be right beside you, and the weight of the water is so heavy that you can't hold on to them. This is an absolute, I don't even know why he made this. This doesn't even fucking make sense. The weight of the water and you can't hold on to them. Y'all are both being pushed by the same fucking water, right? It's not like they got hit by a left tsunami and you got hit by a right tsunami. Y'all are going to the same fucking place. Of course you could hold hands, first of all. Second of all, that term has been around since like the fucking 1300s. Okay? I went and started looking at it because I knew it was fucking old, because I've seen it in books about knights and chivalry and shit that was like way back in the day. It's been around since the 1300s. It appears in Chaucer's Knight's Tale, published in 1386. And you're going to tell me that it was for tsunamis? It was basically once a fighting group had gotten to the point where they were absolutely going to lose, it became every man for himself. Forget your friends, forget what we're protecting, forget the VIP, the king, the lord, the whatever. Forget your buddies, forget that we're guarding the gold. Everything you got to do for you to live now. Every man for himself. And it's basically like an abandoned position, right? You're going to be overrun, so save your own ass, get the fuck out of there, and screw what you were supposed to be guarding. What the fuck does it have to do with tsunamis? Let's listen to his explanation again.
The weight of the water, a real storm, a tsunami. And the term every man for himself, that comes from tsunamis. Because the weight of the water, the movement of the water is so intense that even your closest friend...
Look at Mel shaking his fucking head. Yeah, I've been in a tsunami. That water is heavy. Heavy water tsunamis. That's what we call them.
And the term every man for himself, that comes from tsunamis. Because the weight of the water, the movement of the water is so intense that even your closest friend, your spouse...
My best friend, Phil, though, I couldn't hold on to him during that tsunami of legal allegations that he opened up by suing the paper.
Your child.
It's bad.
Be right there, even in your grip, and the weight of the water pushing on them. You can't even hold yourself, let alone hold the next person.
The 1300 tsunami epidemic, I did not. I kind of let it slip me. In fucking inland England. Yeah, I remember now.
And so that's where the term every man for himself in a tsunami, a tidal wave.
A tidal wave, that's where it came from. Duh. The first thing I do when I go to the beach is scream, every man for himself, as the waves start crashing in. See a shark and see if you don't scream every man for himself.
Things that are coming for America are going to be that epic. And some of it, no matter how smart you individually are and how much you've prepared, some of it's just luck of the draw to be in the right place, to be out of.
They do say it on boats, on sinking ships. I've heard them say it on sinking ships. Like, forget the passengers, forget the lifeboats, forget, blah, 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 every man for himself. But the first time it's mentioned is in The Knight's Tale by Chaucer in 1386. And then in 1546, a book of Proverbs by John Haywood listed an expanded version of the expression called every man for himself and God for us all.
The way of some of what's coming. And you might say, well, I'm out in rural, North Dakota. Nothing's going to hit me here. well, you might be surprised.
Oh, happy anniversary, Jason. I just saw somebody else saying, I'm sorry, I must have missed it. Is that Jason Kratz over there? Howdy, folks. Just got settled in after taking the wife out for the anniversary. I see 107 beating around the bushes again. He's beat every dead horse in the fucking country. He had to drive to a new town just to find more dead horses. Happy anniversary, brother.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. And I've actually, we focus on that very thing and preparing yourself not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, and all of the above, so that as we go into this, because we're in it, but not fully, where the shit's about to hit the fan, it's coming, that we can be that.
Man, I dread tomorrow.
In the wilderness to help people, because that's what they're going to need. We're going to need a lot of people, which that's the whole point with what we're doing here. What you're doing, what I'm doing, what Ty and what we're trying to do here is we're trying to educate people on what is about to take place, and so that they can be able to help those people within their circle of influence, because everyone has a circle of influence, right? And that's
the main thing
that the people that you live with. And
there's one more phrase I want to catch here, then we'll move on.
Very important where we're at.
Go home level and you align with people. The thing that I guess is my main concern. You do what you can at the local home level and you align with people. You try not to end up in the kooks and nuts bin. Some of the stuff that people want to say. I remember in the 80s and 90s, and all the guys wanted to start the latest militia, and they're going to go back at it. And you have to understand, this is post-Vietnam era, and you had a lot of course, gun law changes. I had a friend that left Canada because his gun collection, which he had thousands of guns that went back to, because it was all sorts of federal agencies that were
federal agencies, of course.
People again, one of my friends for a group need to begin to focus on the targets and expose those areas.
This is, you don't want to duplicate the same thing that's happened before. You don't want to fall victim or be puppeteered, because these guys see you coming and they're very skilled at what they do and they've got a long track record.
But that's all they do. The QAnon grifters, they turn you into victims, and they make you their puppet, their mouthpiece, their cash cow.
A very long time of pulling this off over and over and over and over again. So the whole point is, where we're coming right now, you can understand, see it's coming. But let's say you're the shop owner in occupied France. They want your little store to work because people still have to get some groceries here and there. They want the wine bottle you got, whatever, and they want the semblance of quality. Is out in the middle of in time. You don't have the railroad need to get.
Where does Mal hop back in here? That's what I'm looking for.
Look,
we can skip ahead because I still want to cover some Phil stuff that CJ come up with.
Might not be the same as the answer for the person living in North Dakota. The basics that I need to.
I might have to search it. Hold on.
A bit of a breakdown. If everybody's broken down, nobody's getting any money. If it completely stops dead, nobody's showing up to pick the rent check either, because nobody has rent. I don't think it becomes that type of a crisis.
It's got to be soon.
It's something that's closer to a snap that is.
Control F. It's at 118. Where are we at? Oh, we're at 114. Here we go.
A series of months, not years, because the system won't sustain years. And the people that are on the white hat team know that. They know you don't have.
Tomorrow's my mom's birthday, and she passed away in December, unexpectedly, kind of suddenly.
Resources very long. They have to make this happen.
I mean, most people are just paycheck to paycheck right now, even if they're at that.
That's right, and we can't lose the American people. So the black hats want it to be forever and a complete wipeout. It's coming to a head, but again, what's the realistic side of this?
The black hats, got it. They're always bad, right?
Continuing disclosures, bringing it to a head as steadily and
Imagine thinking like through your life that there's no nuance, that everybody that ever does anything wrong is just evil, and Satanism and reptilian, and everybody that does stuff good is always good. They can never do no wrong, that's what they're asking you to believe. So no one's ever just made a mistake. No one's ever just misinterpreted anything. No one ever feels like kind of more liberal on this issue and more conservative on this issue. Nope. They're satanic pedophiles who want to kill you.
Predictably as possible. And you can look at these people that are trying to control. You have an aircraft carrier going through a narrow passage. We got tugs that are in there to assist us and to keep us from going on the rocks.
Oh, we're getting tugged?
We got other tugs that want to push us on.
I figured Nino gave you all your tugs. You need some more?
That's SES, and that's Strategic Command. And most of that's a very generic term. You've got all sorts of entities that are...
Happy birthday, Carol.
You can't possibly know all the angles. Anybody that says it does is an idiot. There's
Right.
literally hundreds and hundreds of little compartmentalized cell operations within various industries that are operating with their own objectives.
That's right, Jason.
That are so autonomous that you'd never guess that they're tied into these big national operations. So
Everything is need to know in that anyway, even intelligence. You can have the highest clearance, but it's compartmentalized.
It's compartmentalized.
As
There you go, compartmentalized. But somehow everybody that has a show on the internet that's successful finds out about it. Super compartmentalized, got to have clearances, got to be close to Trump, got to need to know. Or an audience of 1,000 or more live viewers, and then you're in.
Yes,
and that's what a lot of people don't realize.
If you have something like a cosmic, clearance, okay, that means you can be briefed on it if you have a need to know.
One just invented a new clearance, a new military clearance called the cosmic clearance. If you have a cosmic clearance, you know about Commander Thor and Zulu and the Space Emporium.
No, doesn't mean that you are briefed on every last thing that's going on because you don't need to know.
That's where my son had. That's what his clearance was.
Okay, so
and then this motherfucker just lied. This tier. So this guy claims to be former Special Forces, says his son had a cosmic clearance. Okay.
Everybody says they have the highest clearance. There's always another one you never heard of. So at the end of the day,
absolutely true.
At the end of the day, what people need to then think about is, do I have options? Have I kind of kept close enough with grandma and grandpa that if we had to kind of get out of the way for a month or two, we can? Have I got what I can for some food?
Here we go. It's coming up.
But, I can tell you, rice and beans is pretty good at the right moment in time. We're not going to.
We just talked about this last week. We talked about this very thing for people to be prepared and having a potentiality of things that are just like exactly what you were just talking about on supply stuff. You need more water than you do food. Food you can last on just intermittently. Water you got to have, right?
And if you got a little extra, you want gold and silver, just have some food and water around. If it actually gets desperate, you'll have all the gold and silver you want. So what is it you're going to get with gold or silver? I got to have something to get by. I got to have the basics. Well, get the basics now, and everybody that saved up gold and silver will be like knocking on your door. You probably don't want to let them know you have it. Yeah. They'll be beating you over the head for it, right?
Or move to Costa Rica.
She tried to speak, and then Juan basically shut her down and immediately said that she was wrong and that he needed to talk about it now, and she hasn't spoke since. She has not spoke since Juan started speaking over her. Someone just mentioned it in the chat.
Where we got plenty of food. You just admitted, Juan, indirectly that we're not going to go into 2024.
Oh, he said, yeah, Liberty Warrior said, compartmentalize. Compartmentalize.
We're not sustainable. I tend to agree with you. Let's talk about some very classic breadcrumbs from Trump. Okay.
Here we go. Very classic breadcrumbs from Trump.
He was on with Laura Ingraham when he was president. And at the end of the interview, she said, well, how are you going to pay for it all? And he leaned forward into the camera. He said, well, we own 35 billion dinars. How do you?
Okay. So he was on an interview with Laura Ingraham, and she said, how are you going to pay for it all? How are you going to pay for it all? And he said, we own 35 billion dinars. So there you go. Reevaluation. Speaking of secret clearance, I'm the one that had one, not my brother. Sounds about right. He tells this wonderful story about how he was going to join the military after September 11th. He's like, I was walking with a friend in a grocery store, and I told him, it's my calling. It's my duty. I have to do it. I'll never forgive myself or feel like I ever became a real man if I don't step up now and serve this country now. Then I decided not to. He's so fucking crazy. But anyway, so Trump is dropping breadcrumbs about dinars. That's where the reevaluation comes from.
Well, how are you going to pay for it all? And he leaned forward into the camera. He said, well, we own 35 billion dinars.
Now, to put this into context, she didn't just ask him, how are you going to pay for this all? She asked him a very specific question.
How do you answer that, for one? And then I got a few more that I want to go down the line, if you don't mind.
Well, again, part of the thing that's people.
So she didn't just ask randomly, talking about med beds or skyscrapers or the economy, how he's going to pay it for it all. She asked, do you really expect... She didn't even ask how you're going to pay for it all. She said, do you really expect Iraq to pay? How do I know this? Because I got the clip, of course. How do you expect Iraq to pay? They'll pay. So let's see if she says, how are you going to pay for all this? And he says, I've got 35 billion dinar, not related to anything to do with why he would have dinar. So let's see. We might have to watch an ad. I forgot it's Fox. I do still have a little thing about Phil we'll get to in just a minute.
If you can afford to pay for
LSAT prep, where's Phil at?
stop watching.
One of his degrees is in biochemistry, humanitarianism, building trades. So he's probably ready for the LSAT, isn't he? All right, it's at the end, but here we go.
Paying us for it. You know, we're doing something. You know, when I heard that, I said, you know, I have it down to 5,000 troops.
So he's talking about pulling troops out of Iraq. That's what he's talking about. Trump on Iraq demanding U.S. troop withdrawal. So he's talking about troops in Iraq, and he's pulling them out. He's talking about troops in Saudi Arabia, and he says Saudi Arabia put $1 billion in a bank account for us. He's talking about South Korea, saying South Korea pays, $500 million or whatever.
Many, many troops there in Iraq. And we're there only in a training. We train them. But if they'd want us to leave, but they speak different publicly than...
Damn it, I don't know why it's buffering so bad.
But aren't we sending more troops to the region as we speak?
We're sending more to Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia is paying us for it. You know, we're doing something that nobody's ever done. I said to Saudi Arabia, we have a very good relationship with Saudi Arabia. I said, listen, you're a very rich country. You want more troops? I'm going to send them to you, but you've got to pay us. They're paying us. They've already deposited $1 billion in the bank. We are going to help them.
All right, so we're sending troops to Saudi Arabia. They're paying us. They've already put $1 billion in the bank. That's the first claim. Trump's TRB system is absolutely a scam. It's not real. It's a cash grab. It's not true. TRB black cards and checks and all that stuff's fake.
But these rich countries have to pay for it. South Korea gave us $500 million. They never gave us any. They gave us...
Get your big, beautiful, delicious tits out of here.
$500 million. I said, you got to help us along. We have...
So there's South Korea. We're protecting them from North Korea. They gave us $500 million. $500 million.
Soldiers in South Korea protecting you from North Korea. You've got to pay. And they gave us $500 million. I mean, you sort of have breaking news because nobody wants to report that stuff. I'm not sure anybody knows it. I might be sort of saying it. You have some, I mean, it's good stuff. But they're a wealthy country. They build all your television sets. They took that away from us. They build the ships. They build a lot of things.
Okay.
Look, we're protecting you. You got to pay. They paid us $500 million. They're going to pay us a lot more.
Do you think that Iraq should repay the American taxpayer for these bases,
sure.
for what we've done there?
You heard.
Do you think Iraq should repay the Americans for the bases and the stuff that we've done there? The airports, the infrastructure. I mean, honestly, stuff we destroyed, but we did build it back and some extra stuff, right? Some infrastructure stuff. Should they pay for us?
Yeah, okay. I know. Will we?
I said we built one of the world's most expensive airport facilities anywhere in the world. I mean, I wish we had it in New York. I wish we had it in Washington. We built runways that are 15,000 feet long. At LaGuardia, they're 7,000 feet long. In fact, I think they're 20
big runways
over there, and deep, thick concrete and steel. Nobody ever built runways like this. Okay,
nobody.
But that's okay. But we have billions of dollars into that. I said, if we leave, you got to pay us. If we leave, you have to pay us for embassies. You have to pay us for the money.
If we leave, you have to pay us for all these infrastructure projects, including industries and airports and runways and all that stuff. Okay, we're all caught up.
We put in.
How are you going to collect?
Well.
Okay, so he says, if we leave, if we're pulling our troops out, Iraq has to pay us. Embassies, airports, infrastructure, roadways, all the things we've done in that country. She says, how are you going to collect? So how are you going to get your money from them? How are you going to get them to pay?
We have a lot of their money right now. We have a lot of their money. We have $35 billion of their money right now sitting in an account. And I think they'll agree to pay. Otherwise, we'll stay there.
So he says we've got a lot of their money right now. We have $35 billion of their money sitting in an account right now, and they'll pay. Does that sound the same as, how are you going to pay for all this, Trump? And he looks dead into the camera and says, we've got a lot of dinars right now. Of course fucking not. Of course fucking not. Of course we have the country's monetary holdings of a country we're invaded in. How the fuck do you think we pay bribes? How do you think we pay local contractors or local truck drivers? Of course we have a ton of their money and are holding up their financial system while we fucking invaded them. Of course we did. This douchebag tries to make it sound like Trump said, oh, we're going to do a bunch of big projects. How you going to pay for it? We got dinar reevaluation. Listen.
She said, let's talk about some very classic breadcrumbs from Trump. Okay. He was on with Laura Ingraham when he was president. And at the end of the interview, she said, well, how are you going to pay for it all? And he leaned forward.
That's not at all what she said. She said, do you think Iraq should pay us for the work we did there after we destroyed it and built it back? Should they pay us? He said yes. She said, how are you going to collect? Not how are you going to pay for it all? How are you going to collect?
From Trump. Okay. He was on with Laura Ingraham when he was president. And at the end of the interview, she said, well, how are you going to pay for it all? And he leaned forward into the camera. He said, well, we own 35 billion dinars. How do you answer that, for one? And then I got a few more that I want to go down the line.
We invaded their fucking country and held their market up on our backs while we were shipping off all their oil to the United States. But that's not at all. See how they fucking twist what's actually said? That's not what was said. He didn't allude to a reevaluation. He didn't allude to dinar were worth a ton of money. He said... she asked him, how are you going to, if you're going to charge, this is just like, we're going to build a wall and Mexico will pay for it. We're going to pull our troops out of Iraq and they're going to pay us for it. It didn't happen, first of all. Second of all, she said, how are you going to collect? He said, oh, we've already got 35 billion, saying that we've already collected some money from them, which we had. We had to get money, and they want nothing more than to trade their shitty money for dollar bills because dollar bills are stronger and more stable, especially when they were occupied. He didn't say, oh, well, this is how we're going to pay for it, for anything. Fucking lying pieces of shit.
Well, again, part of the thing that's people have to remember, if you thought of it and you think you've gotten out, somebody else was engineering it and has even bigger outs than you ever dreamed of. Most everything that happens in the public realm has been gamed out in, militarized intelligence settings, etc., numerous times. Just depends on whether the black hats or the white hats were running the operation. And sometimes it's not clear, by the way. You get in that realm and guys have to play a certain role to have access to be able to do something else down the road that is what you really wanted to do. I had somebody years ago that was very annoyed that they didn't understand what the ultimate objective of something.
He just word salads around. Well, you got a lot of commanders, you got a lot of military strategery, and when you get these strategerists together, especially when you include Canada, they're always wanting to fight in the snow, and if we invite France, they're always wanting to surrender immediately. So you have to kind of weigh the balances. Lady Justice is blind, and I'll see you at the courthouse. Okay, makes perfect sense. Let's see how let's jump through this, see if they get in another fight. I haven't seen much more of this.
Making
up the few arguments they already had.
Yeah, everybody's going to have, and
it's very, very real. I have to prove it. UFS1776@gmail.com. You send me the documentation redacted, I'll put you on the show. I guarantee you, after the show, I have dozens and dozens of people that I can interview. Why? When was the last time you heard people are getting their mortgage forgiven?
Oh yeah, and of course we know too.
Hold on, is he calling him out here?
Everybody, there's going to be a reevaluation. He's recently at the CCAP saying we got to get into this race of the flying cars with China and Russia and so on. We're going beyond 747s, Juan. 747s is a thing of your dad and my dad and maybe you. I don't know how old you are. You might be up there in age. But the reality is the flying cars are coming. We're moving into free data.
Flying cars. Okay, he is getting after him a little bit here.
Both sides, the whole record function.
Let's see where this started.
Some that's preserved only because it has a bookkeeping function to it, a record function to it, but not the way that most people are envisioning.
That's the ISO compliant 222.
Yeah. There'll be a global component. Look, you want to go trade in the BRICS country, you want to go trade outside the US, they'll have their system, we'll have ours. You're coming down at the end of the day to a world war. Most of the rest of the world.
I say I'm a lot too. I can't say shit.
That's where this game is going to end up. You're going to get a pause with a Trump return.
Thank you, Amy. Adventures with Amy.
We still have the worst.
Where are we adventuring out?
This is almost over. Look, no.
Oh, I didn't see who the other person. I asked them about their van, and I forgot to look for the answer. What kind of van you got?
You have a you have a Cuban Missile Crisis type of event, standoff, that's coming. You have a near-death experience for America. That's not a bad hair day. I've talked about this for years and years. You have a near-death experience for America. You think you're dead. It's all over. It's very dark. All the demons get seen. It's going to be
even
much
Hughes
harder.
says that the Anons don't.
Where did Captain Kyle stop at? He likes to come back and visit, the scene of the crime. It's basically like reliving this roadside fantasy he had and where all the bodies are buried. Yeah, what kind of van you got?
I don't know what's about to get unleashed.
Minivan?
Really don't.
Recently Trump said we're gonna have a quantum leap. He's dropping breadcrumbs again. He goes
from a Chicago suburb. Cool.
He turns around and says to Melania, I think we're going to get ourselves an RV. No, he's telling everybody.
I think we're going to get ourselves an RV. So Trump was at an RV company. This was when he was going to like American-made companies. I can't remember if it was like, hold on. He visited Trump. It was a manufacturer. Trump visits, was it Winnebago? RV company. Trump administration highlights outdoor recreation. It's the summer of RV. Even Trump wants to get one. So did Clarence Thomas. Came out and started talking about how he goes in RVs and shit. RV sales are booming as Americans get away for the COVID-19 pandemic. 46 million Americans, RV trip. Even President Trump said he may ditch Air Force One and get an RV trip. I think I'm going to buy an RV and travel in an RV with our First Lady, Trump said at a news conference Friday at the White House. It's great people are traveling, and you know what? They're traveling in the United States, and they're also driving, and they're building trailers. Enthusiast videos. I thought he went somewhere too and visited Winnebago, maybe a U.S. plant on a tour. It doesn't matter, but I'm just saying. Yeah, Winnebago Industries. Winnebago Industries. WGO is their stock ticker. He visited that plant at one time and made comments there as well. Winnebago Industries. Okay, so he says I'm gonna get an RV and travel around the country with our First Lady. But no, Mel Carmine knows that means revaluation. Revaluation. A Kia Sedona. Oh, I don't think I've ever seen one of those or know what they look like, but I'll look it up.
There's going to be a reevaluation. He's recently at the CCAP saying we got to get into this race of the flying cars with China and Russia and so on. We're going to be.
Yeah, there's going to be a race for flying cars and drones and a bunch of stuff that's airbound here soon.
Beyond 747s, Juan. 747s is a thing of your dad and my dad.
That's a good looking van.
I don't know how old you are. You might be up there in age. But the reality is the flying cars are coming. We're moving into free energy technology. The revaluation is very, very real. I have to prove it. And listen.
Flying cars are already here. The problem is, if they're not autonomous and they're not fucking perfect, how do you do this? There's already companies that have built a car that can drive on the road, that you can back out of your fucking garage, that you can fire up the fucking engines and fly it basically like a drone. The problem is, how do you route everybody? How do you keep everybody out of FAA airspace? How do you make sure nobody bumps into each other? How do you make sure they know where to land? How do you make sure they don't chop somebody in half? How do you make sure to do all this? But we can make a car fly and drive.
If there's anybody out there that wants to come on my show that has debt forgiveness, QFS1776@gmail.com. You send me the documentation redacted. I'll put you on the show. I guarantee you after the show, I have dozens and dozens of people that I can interview. Why? What was the last?
This is back when Trump said he was going to build 10 new futuristic cities that would literally, I think he quoted and said it'd be like the Jetsons. He said we need to build 10 new cities to get back in the race for the flying car. And the technology leaps forward. They were going to build 10 tech cities, and I don't think they ever did.
Time you heard people are getting their mortgage forgiven.
They were calling them freedom cities.
And of course, we know too that because of the way that
his boy Elroy
mortgages were traded around in the banking.
Daughter Judy
and 9 and 10 and 11.
Jane, his wife. Bum 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 bum.
That
Jetson
There's all sorts of mischief there on the records and the books and all that. I'm very familiar with a lot of that stuff.
It's fraudulent. The entire system is illegal.
And we understand that.
You're right, Jason. It would be incredibly hard to route flying cars. You basically have to invent a worldwide or at least nationwide system that controls all these cars' paths, that you tell it where you want to go. Want to go to the grocery store. And it would program you automatically, unless we're going to hire flight controllers for flying cars. And it would program you automatically somehow to know where every other car in the world was. And that look, my drone, at the end of this year, my 5-inch drone falls under regulations where I basically got to go get a fucking pilot's license. A 5-inch drone, 5-inch propellers. And you're telling me you want to fly a 4,000-pound car around? The fuck out of here. They're not going to let you do it. We either have to have a system to automate it, which is damn near impossible, or you're not going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
At this exact moment in time,
mm-hmm.
What I'm most concerned about is that I don't mind having those conversations, and I think they're important conversations where you have a kind of an educated crowd that is willing to take the time and dig in.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that.
America, because you're not going to get 30 million people all trying to go for their debt forgiveness, mortgage forgiveness all at the same time. This is maturing faster than that and in a different lane. And in fact, that's not how the cure is going to be put in place for the vast majority, 99.999% of the population.
Right now, if you put a car into flight, you would be violating FAA rules. You would have to build it as an ultralight. Which means it wouldn't have many of the car parts. Yeah, it's not allowed to weigh. It says unpowered ultra. Oh, no. An unpowered ultralight. We're looking for powered ultralights. 254 pounds. Good luck.
Going to happen in a different way. It's going to surprise most people, and it's going to be much more gut-wrenching because they're not going to believe it until it happens. It's like the consequences of listening to government over the last couple.
What the fuck you doing back there with all those seats laid down, Sandra? Sounds like you already got enough kids, the minivan, but now you're talking about the seats go all the way back, if you know what I mean. What are you doing back there? Getting frisky?
Couple of years, and what's happening with people dropping like flies around you. Well, who are you listening to? They enjoy life. They got to be a number.
Let's see if they fight anymore.
Conditions at the time, but it's not even.
He kind of jumped one shit there a little bit.
It's gaming this out. What I am saying is that we have people that are frustrated. Oh,
disruptive technology, yeah, but disruptive technology is going to come. It's just inevitable.
Yes, but what I'm saying is
we can't keep humanity on the hamster wheel forever.
You got to understand what I'm saying, though. I'm not saying it's not coming. What I am saying is that we have people that are frustrated and with angst and all upset.
Uh-oh, Atlanta Fried.
Yesterday, and we should all not pay for power, and we should all have this stuff, and it could be here by next week. Not real world, not what is going to happen.
Not real world.
What makes sense and can be done and should be done, as opposed to...
They're not happy with each other, are they?
Well, yeah, we could do that. We could switch the whole entire truck fleet over to natural gas. We could switch them over to hydrogen. Where's all the places for that?
Well, those with a lot of money already have flying cars. They're called helicopters. And they fly them wherever the fuck they want.
Trucks to fill up. Well, we've got all the main places. Okay, so what about the periphery? Is there a phase thing? Is there stage 1, stage 2, stage 3? Is it anticipated? When the national highway system was put together under Eisenhower, and we put in this interstate highway system, it was done with a plan. And it just all those businesses that were on Highway 99, that were out on Highway 66, all of those cities that got bypassed, who picked which ones to stick with and which ones to go right on by. And it changed the fabric of the country, the way the country works. It brought prices down. When we switched to China supplying...
When we switched, okay.
We shut down all these local businesses and moved in...
Disruptive technology. There you go.
That had a consequence. When we started moving all of our wing production to Japan, and then it got moved into China for aircraft, the American jets are here. It made them wealthier. It made us less wealthy. But the argument is cats are looking at the consequences. If we do this, how's that help or hurt? If we do that,
so
how's that help or hurt?
So you're right with that, because they've been talking about because we're in a revolution, and
it means that you're going to have to learn how to do.
He does sound upset, doesn't he?
Buy these guys out. They want to sell. You better be buyers. You're going to be working.
Get to the chopper.
And that's has had that.
Let's just get through this and we'll cover the Phil stuff quickly.
Live longer.
It's not a whole lot, but it is interesting.
Take that lightly. With the tank with the dollar at the end of World War I.
Juan will never be back on the show again if someone challenged him.
The
The only reason he didn't leave is because he think it'd make him look like a bitch.
And they're going to try to distract us in the markets, and they're going to try to scare you that you're going to be living on the street at 70 years old with your retirement completely gone, and there's nothing to be done to help you. And the reality is,
I think that Elon Musk actually has a good idea if he can get it actually set up and going right of tunnel systems to traverse heavily populated areas that pop up and have exits. You know, like if you're going to this famous casino or the other side of this town, you're going from one side of LA to Hollywood, where you don't need an exit like at every road. But let's say if you're going so far, and then they can even pull a vacuum in those and have them going super fast on trolleys and shit.
all of that's been taken into consideration, ignored. They've landed on the, by the way, just all of the mining intended us to, so they want to punish us.
That might have been most of it there.
You're not understanding a different silver in a trading zone. I was the one that called the close of the silver window. Literally, you can go over and ask V and some of the other ones. I did their shows, half a dozen shows. So they're getting ready to close it down. They're going to change the way it's done, and they're going to churn silver. And I had to go back and tell people over and over and over and over, it's not going anywhere. It's not going to $200 an ounce. It's not going to $50 an ounce. It's not going to $40 an ounce. They're going to churn it within a window. If you want to make money, you get in there and do your puts and calls and get on the other side of that bracket and make a killing, because that's what they're doing. And that's exactly how they've cornered the physical silver, by churning the price. So that's the situation that we're in. All the people that were in there speculating was going to go to the moon. It's the same thing in the cryptos. All right, got to go, guys. Enjoy the show. Appreciate
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, now he's got to go.
Thank you. Let's do it again.
It has turned to night. Look how fucking dark it got over that period. Damn, it got dark quick.
Then they don't make.
Yeah.
Now it really does look like where he buried some bodies. There's the headstone right there.
They're going to churn. Be vocal. You know, we do have a government that's out to try. Yeah,
So,
well,
you
play in
know.
your zone. Do what you know to do. Ask God for direction. Let's get this done. I enjoyed visiting with all of you. I hope that helped a little bit anyway.
Thank you, brother.
Absolutely.
Really enjoyable. Thank you.
All right.
Turn that silver, baby. We got some Phil stuff to go over quickly. That was Juan lying and Mel lying and one guy lying about being former special forces. And Kyle and the other lady just quit fucking talking because Juan cut them off. Here's a little car that Mel was trying to sell for $12,000 cash up front. He could get them as many as you want and any color you want, as long as it's green and it never shows up. Which seems like a pretty good deal, to be honest with you. Don't forget, next Friday we're gonna have Ciaran Warner on. He's the guy who's exposing all the cults on TikTok. He does it professionally for news outlets. Jesus Christ, what's that lady doing? God damn. Her cantaloupe done fell out of her tube sock. Anyways, he exposes the cults over on TikTok. He did these videos. I'm going to show you one of them quick before we go to the Phil thing. This will be a week from tomorrow. We'll be doing this. A week from tomorrow, we're having him on as a guest.
I have holographic computers in front of me.
It's easy to say Linda's making all this up, especially with all the allegations that she's a cult leader.
There's a group of people that have been spreading that the Profundity Yours team is a cult and that I am brainwashing people.
Now, there is a new theory online that might support some of the...
This guy is coming on the show next Friday.
Tesla theory. And if you look at the evidence, it's actually kind of compelling.
To you guys, this is a problem. For me, this is the greatest miracle that was ever created.
Okay. Perfect.
This is Tesla technology.
People have no idea. This is going to be bigger than the car.
Elon did that to Linda?
Try driving a car in a human world when you're used to driving a starship that has everything in front of you. You mean I have to try and drive on this?
Probably the most important product
that makes sense
going on at Tesla this year.
Every time I drive a Starship, I have some trouble getting back into my car.
Is this robot?
There's a third of the population that has avatar robot bodies.
You can then generalize that to a robot on legs.
I understand how cool it sounds.
So the missing things are basically real-world intelligence.
Your guys' moon is an artificial construct.
I mean, obviously, we need to be careful that this doesn't become a dystopian situation.
That's a good edit with Elon.
It has deceived you for thousands of years. Release.
This guy's over on TikTok. I think he's probably got a YouTube too. We'll see. But his name is Ciaran Warner. And he exposes these cults and cult leaders and talks to them about it. He used to do it for a couple different, or for a newspaper, maybe a couple different newspapers. Now he's doing it as his full-time job, kind of freelance doing it for his own coverage, and I'm sure selling coverage and appearing places and shit. He's going to come on the show next week. A week from Friday, he'll be on for an interview. All right, let's talk about this Phil thing. Everybody's been kind of wondering, what about Phil's assistant? Remember, he told us that she had an assistant. Contract was already signed. Don't ask to be my fucking assistant. I've already got one. I've already paid her. She starts the end of this month. Then we never really heard anything. So the assistant appeared the other day, and it says, here's some screenshot. Oh, there's a dono clip. It says, if you were charged twice, so Carrie's in the chat, and she says, if you were charged twice, please send. This is them trying to get everybody back on philgodlewski.live, because that's like free money, and into their new chat group, okay? They have to make a new chat group because they don't even have access to the names from the old chat group. They'll have access to the names on the old email. Phil tried to play it off like, oh, it's just a construction. We're redoing the website. He couldn't have canceled your payments if he wanted to. He couldn't sign into it. The top computer hacker couldn't sign into a WordPress website. That's right. So Carrie says, if you were charged twice, please send an email to Tristan, Tristen, at philgodlewski.live with the email that you signed up with. Also, if you do not see an email from us in regards to signing up, please do not sign up again. It is creating 2 accounts, and that is why you're being charged twice. Thank you. We then get mods. You are going to make me go to my bank and stop payment. Interesting how you make it so difficult to cancel something I don't want. You should make it easy. Shame on you. And you're hiding behind Jesus. Rachel Yu says, I'm not a mod, but I'm somewhat confused. Are you saying you're being charged each month? For what exactly? This chat is for those who are subscribers to Phil's website, but no one is charged by Telegram or anything, only his website. You can leave this chat if you don't want it by choosing that option under the menu at the top. Phil started a brand new website, and no one should be being charged anything to be a subscriber unless they recently signed up again to be so. Just in the last few weeks. I hope this helps. Jaybird with 10 six-packs. Share this with your kids, your family, your memories, your amazing moms. Love you guys. Tell your dad we love him too. I'll let him know tomorrow I'm taking him up to the graveside. Thank you very much for that. It then says, I hope this helps. Thank you, Jaybird. That's from Jaybird. Joy in the Journey says, you do know Phil has an assistant now, right? Just email Tristan at philgodlewski.live. Julie says, did you go to the website and cancel your subscription? Kathy H says, how about you email Tristan and stop complaining? We know there are issues. Tristan at philgodlewski.live. Joy says, that's what I told her yesterday, too. Actions speak louder than words was the next thing that Kathy H said. Actions speak louder than words. Here it is from Ramesh, the dono clip.
Well, Bird, this is Ramesh. Will Melton Carmichael sell me 2 of those cars, 1 for each foot?
Melton Carmichael sell me 2 of those cars, 1 for each foot. Like I said, a roller skates. There you go, Ramesh. Get all the goats in there, too.
Well, Bird, this is Ramesh. Will Melton Carmichael sell me 2 of those cars, 1 for each foot?
Thank you very much, Ramesh. I appreciate it. That's what you're going to need. Also, Guess Who Farted says Phil's assistant only works from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday because it's a school night. But no, who is Tristan? We've got this brand new person. Who is Tristan? Do you guys want to know who Tristan is? Do you think we should share who Tristan is? Who the great technology assistant is that's going to step in and solve this and run the website? You guys want to know who Tristan is? Since Phil's live where he announced his new website and how it would be necessary for current members of the private chat to resubscribe, the private chat has been going crazy with stupid questions. When, how, why? Now for the last 2 weeks, we've finally been told to email his new assistants with the questions rather than tag Carrie and Phil, all because he cannot take 5 minutes to answer that new private Telegram channel. Stupid ladies think he's taking so long because he's trying to come up with a non-shareable link so the trolls cannot invade again. Then we get the update from Carrie. So knowing what I know and reading Carrie's update and the regular old biddies attacking this person for asking the question, it really got me thinking. I finally put that the obvious together last night. I know who Tristan is. We all know who she is. Phil's new assistant is none other than Carrie's first ex-husband's new wife that also lives in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Tristan and Carrie haven't always been close, but if you stalk her Insta, you'll learn a lot. Isn't it weird that Phil doesn't stick around his town for his fucking kids, but he buys a place in Lake Havasu so Carrie can stay around her kids? So if we go over here to Instagram for a minute, who is Tristan? Well, let's see. There's some kid picture. Oh, who's that? What we got going? Oh, what is this? Wow, they seem super close now. It seems super close now that everybody's making tons of money. Oh, goddamn, she's another one of a fucking alcoholic. Oh, my God. So the brand new lead assistant at philgodlewski.live is Carrie's first husband, father of her daughter's new wife. Tristan LaRue, Instagram handle, Tristan LaRue, _Tristan.LaRue_, has been married to Carrie's ex for 12 years and bonus mom to her husband and Carrie's daughter in that just turned 13 last Saturday. So Jeremy was already divorced. Jeremy's the ex-husband. Jeremy was already divorced from Carrie with Tristan by the time that their kid was 1. Side notes, actually, Jeremy and Tristan had a baby 2 years after they married, and that baby is now 10. And as we're all aware, Carrie also had another daughter with who knows who, named Ken, as Phil calls her. Okay, there it is. You heard the scoop from CJ. Thank you very much. If we go on over to this picture is what I found interesting. So, Phil decides to throw a big pineapple party and then pretend, he even calls it, we're throwing a pineapple party, and then claims he doesn't know what a pineapple party is. Who was at the pineapple party? Well, that's easy. Phil and Carrie and Tristan and Jeremy. That was the other couple on the left, was Tristan and Jeremy. That one big Pineapples is fucking a swinger party. And if you Google pineapple party right now, pineapple party, and I'll read it to you. Fuck, it comes up with the Urban Dictionary. Phil says we're having a pineapple party. I mean, I'm just kidding. It's one of the kids' birthday parties, which is really weird. He said a kid's birthday party, because when you Google pineapple party and you read the fucking definition, it's like the second or third one down, the definition from Urban Dictionary, it says a get-together where people over 21, that'd be all these old motherfuckers here, people over 21 drink alcohol out of pineapples. Commonly, they will become so inebriated that they give others under 21, remember it was a kid's birthday party, that they give others under 21 alcohol. Under 21 alcohol. We all know what pineapples have to do with fucking swinging parties, key parties, and all that shit. Like it's, I trimmed my beard, by the way. Did anybody notice? I slimmed it up on the sides. It's still the same length. But I just thought about it when I was scratching my ear. I got ADHD. I'm sorry. I got PTSD ADHD. It's even worse. So we know that it ties to this swinger party. So now she had a kid with him and then had a kid with a random person, probably this fucking guy. They got split. These two immediately got together within the first year of the split and got pregnant within the second year of the split. That daughter's now 13 years old. She married this guy because he has money and a mole on his dick. And now this guy hired that girl to run his website, in case you're wondering what that looks like. There you go. There you go. It's surprising, isn't it? And after all the Ondi drama, Phil wants to keep it in the family. He's trusting his fiance's ex-husband's wife to be his assistant. There's not a cold day in hell that I would ever trust my husband's ex-wife's husband. Thank you very much, CJ. I hope she launders him for fucking everything and leaves the goddamn country. They've also got, I didn't show that. I try not to show the kids or their names or whatever, but that you can just go over to her fucking Instagram. All the kids are there. All of them. They've got a kid. And then they've got Carrie's 2 kids are featured in a lot of it. Only one of them's his. Carrie has 2 kids, one with him, one with somebody else, and this woman has 1 kid with him. But there's 3 girls, so there's one that no one knows who the father is. And it couldn't have been Phil because I think at the time she was born, he was actually picking up a freshman. So it's probably, I don't even know if they were viable to breed at that point. You had to check. Some of them join later. This is crazy. Brad Barton did start a Rumble that we heard that tonight. He said if you join for $10, you get shows troll free. So he's following the Phil plan. You get troll free shows. If you join at $20, you get troll free shows plus a live Q&A on Zoom twice a month and entries to free giveaways. If you sign up by April 1st, you get a come along live with Brad and family around his town of Chattanooga. He's doing a Chattanooga thing. I don't know. Isn't this one of those new woke Disney movies? We haven't identified this other couple. I'm assuming it's some of Carrie's friends. This is probably one of her bridesmaids. Do you guys know who this couple is? Yeah, you can't use that word on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. I don't give a fuck what you say over on Rumble. It doesn't matter. Does anybody know who this other couple is? I saw somebody use their name, but it didn't. I saw someone name this woman somewhere. Somebody sent me a screenshot naming this woman, but it didn't say what the affiliation was. It's Home, the movie Home. About the purple troll looking thing or alien, I guess. Kind of like E.T. from 2015. That's it. I think you're right. They're in the spaceship, aren't they? I've seen that movie. So they're watching Home. So Phil makes this post. Hold on, I'll go grab it and read it. Phil, he's such a fucking retard. If you don't know what something means, especially something like pineapple party, don't put it out there, dude. Imagine if he'd have said, "Yep." Let's just imagine for here. He would have took Carrie's daughter to Cleveland, Ohio, and they would have gotten on a steamship. And Phil would have been like, "Just gave Carrie's daughter her first Cleveland steamer." Nope, just kidding. I took her on a steamboat. That's essentially what the fuck he did. That's essentially what he did. Oh, we're having a pineapple party with the kids. Nope, just kidding. It's a birthday. I didn't know what that meant. What? Just gave Carrie's daughter her first Cleveland steamer. Just gave Carrie's daughter her first Tennessee log jammer. Anyways, he shares all these pictures. So he's got the picture in the living room that says "Good vibes only." He's got a picture of one couple in the back of a side-by-side and then the other couple in the back of a side-by-side. I guess they had to take turns riding, and one time Phil drove and one time Carrie drove maybe. And it says, "This is our celebratory pineapple party for the crumble of the cabal." Imagine getting on here and being like, "I stuck my dick in the neighbor while my wife got fucked by a homeless man to celebrate the fall of the cabal." Nope. Just kidding. It's a kid's birthday party. What? The fuck are you talking about? You can't just say shit you don't know what it means and then be like, oh, what's that anyways? What is sticking your dick in your neighbor while your wife gets fucked by a homeless man? What is that anyways? So the next post, he shares a bunch of pictures and he says, just kidding. So at 9:21, he tells everybody he's having a pineapple party with all his friends. A pineapple party with all his friends. At 9:21. At 9:27, he says, just kidding. What's a pineapple party anyways? And he shows a shrug and a laughing emote. Then it says, happy birthday, Jocelyn. We love you so much. We love you. Cleveland Steamer and back to the moon. The fuck does that mean, lady? Like, or Phil, you can't just say shit you don't know what it means. This is how you get in trouble. This is how you end up having to launch yourself. This is how you end up having to launch yourself from a fucking from the fucking second story window of a child's house. Of a child's house because you think their mom came home early. Fucking idiot. Oh shit. That's from 3 weeks ago. What is it? It's March 17th. It'd be more than 3 weeks ago. Oh, February 19th. Okay, I see it now. Date it was posted. Ooh. 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 They went out and got matching fucking tattoos? Like, I know you're fucking my ex-husband and I've got some new guy with an ugly dick, but let's get tattoos! Sorority sisters! Ew. Phil can put you in any fucking mansion he wants to in Arizona or Philadelphia or fucking Istanbul for all I care. You look like fucking trash. You look like fucking trash. And I know I'm country. I'm redneck sometimes. I'm fucking backwards. I've got the accent. I'm fucking poor. I don't present myself as trash. You present yourself as trash. You present yourself as trash. Jesus Christ. What? Show us your tits. Get out on that boat and show us your tits. I want to see some titties. I wonder how underage she was in that photo. Just enough where Phil could find her, sniff her out. I smell her. Lake Havasu. She's drank 2 Zimas. She's just about ready for me. If I get her cross-eyed enough, she just sees 2 images of the right side of my penis, and you can't even tell there's a mole on it. She got double vision. It's just the one side of my penis, though. There we go. There we go. Perfect. These people are so fucking, I don't know. Like, how much... Like, sometimes you can't buy your way out of trashy, I guess. You can't buy your way out of trashy. Either way, I guess that's it for tonight. Tomorrow is my mom's birthday. The show that I got planned for tomorrow is going to be I want to do a weekly hangout where we talk about events from the week, weekly events. It can be about grifters. It can be about the news. It can be about your week. I don't give a fuck. You can come and tell me that you've been hanging out for a week. There'll probably be some people that I'd like to keep on the panel just to break up the silence. And then other people would just rotate through So I try to grab some people to keep up there for like the majority of the time. Everybody else is more than welcome to come up and say your piece or whatever. If I get to that show, tomorrow's going to be a pretty rough day. I don't know how I'm going to handle it. I haven't been handling it good today. My mom died unexpectedly in December, and I still haven't really come to terms with it, and I'm pretty upset already. So we'll see how it works out, but that's tomorrow. So St. Patrick's Day is the first birthday of my mom since she passed, and the whole family's going up to Graveside for to meet up there. So we'll see how that works out. But as far as tonight, I guess I'm out of here, guys. Thank you all for the support. Thank you for the donations. We'll see what tomorrow holds. I got to make up a Patreon show that I really didn't want to do tonight just because I don't feel well. I honestly felt like canceling the show, and I thought, no, fuck it. It'll distract me for a little bit. But I didn't want to get to the Patreon show and get aggravated or something and have a bad show. So thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Thank you for the donation and support. Oh, shit, I accidentally liked it. I got to get that gone. Thank you for all that you guys do. Thank you for hanging out with me. Support the stream while we're offline. Go to coldbeer.fund. I know inflation's crazy right now. If you can afford it, you can afford it. If you can't, you can't. It's cut down the majority of our income. But we'll keep the show going as long as we can, as long as I can afford to keep running it at a loss. And we'll see what we can do. But thank you guys. Everybody have a good night. We'll see you on the next one. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, and I'll keep up with you guys tomorrow and let you guys know. Have a good one, guys. Thank you. Please like and share. Follow us over on Discord. I've spent today, I wasn't really on the internet much. I just sat around doing other things, but I'm usually over on Discord more than I am Telegram, but I'm on Telegram too. But join us on one of those if you want. Basically, the show just continues over there. We just talk and hang out or whatever, discuss topics. So Discord is where I'm trying to move to, but our Telegram's still pretty active as well. If you join Telegram, look for a message from the mods to, tell them that you actually watch the show and you're not just trying to hang out, I guess. That's right. If you don't mind, go to coldbeer.fund and make sure you're subscribed to my new YouTube channel. I'm just trying to get to 1,000 to where I can remonetize that. It won't be ads during the show. They just come on. They just come on after the show. There is ads on my Twitch. I guess I should probably only be running my Twitch. That's the only way I'm going to make any ad revenue off of it, but it is what it is. YouTube.com/@coldbeerconfessional, all one word. YouTube.com/@coldbeerconfessional.
What you think about when you're born into a fire?